Welcome everyone to episode 10 of Rivals and Rants, the Marvel Rivals Esports podcast. I'm Vodible, and we have some special guests today. It's Light from FlyQuest, leg day all the way over from EMEA, cast of the action this past weekend, and all of it for Ignite. And already top level coach that we saw in the Nemesis kind of crew there, leading the charge for them on the back lines. And this is going to be a great episode because we're breaking down all the stuff that happened this past weekend with playoffs, but we're also talking about the new season. I know there's some of your favorite streamers that are watching and actually showing some of the gameplay, so we might just take a look at some clips on reactions from that as they come through. But it's a lot of great action that's happened, more stuff to come with MRC this weekend, and then we just got some announcements of when exactly the time period is that the mid-season China tournament is going to be happening. So with that out of the way, Light, I'm going to start with you as we go down the line. I usually ask a question for each of our guests. How do you feel about this new season as a DPS player?
Well, it depends. Like, if you're a Hela player or a Hawkeye player or a Namor player, I'm sure you're like really, really happy about it. Me as a Spider-Man enjoyer, as a Panther player, as an Iron Fist player, you know, like the melee type of walk at you type of characters, it's another sad day for the boys. You know, it's been a running meme on my stream for weeks that they would nerf Spider-Man in this next patch and buff Hela, and they actually did it. So, I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible with every patch. They never cease to surprise me, so I'm excited to see
your clips.
I'm excited to see how we do it. Yeah, I'm excited to see how we can save New York this time, because I feel every single patch is like the end of Spider-Man 2, where all the symbiotes are coming down invading the city, and you're getting shot at by everybody, and you're 1v11 against all the Spider-Man villains. You got to find a way to make it work. So
I was going to say, I feel like the Spider-Man nerf is at least kind of balanced with the new team up, but at the same time, Phoenix is never going to be seeing a single game of ranked. So I don't think we'll ever get to see that team up in action.
Well, the problem is that it's like a net nerf overall, because they took away the team up with Squirrel Girl, and he was the anchor, so he got the 10% bonus. And to try to compensate that, they buffed his overhead, his uppercut, and his get over here targeting, which is like when you fly to the target and you kick them. But the problem is that they didn't compensate his ult or his tracers, which have fall off, by the way, for some reason, and his left click. So all of those things together are just worse. And on top of that, you need Torch in the game for it to even be arguable that he was better than he was last season, which I don't know yet. I haven't gotten the chance to try it out yet. But I think overall it's a net nerf.
Oh, as a resident dog shit player, I think that we really should put Spider-Man in a box and shoot him into the sun. So
yeah,
not too
cut
bothered.
off his legs. Cut off his legs. He's broken.
Well, put him in the Xavier wheelchair right now.
Yeah.
Oh man,
wheeling down Maine through the.
It's gonna be spicy because we'll talk more about season 3 specifically. But I know you've had some opinions about what you've seen so far with the patch
very
notes and
passionate.
things of
I'm
that
very
sort.
passionate.
Exactly.
That's one thing I am is passionate.
That's why we got you on here finally. Talk about that passion with the tournaments going on, but with also the comp scene and just like the clips. If no one's seen the clips that Light has been posting on socials about either like the Black Widow like sniping you as you're chasing them down with a Black Panther, or you just getting sniped and frozen by a Luna Snell. I mean, 10 out of 10 content.
Yep. Enjoy.
Yeah, definitely enjoy that.
Or Emma Frost.
Oh yeah, Emma Frost too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So
now the most
things.
recent clip I have. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good.
But now the most recent clip I have, I didn't even die. I was just playing Venom, because every time there's a Black Widow in the game, I just go back to spawn and go Venom. Like literally, it doesn't matter what's happening in the game. I see that shot go off, I'm immediately booking it to spawn. I'm not playing a character in the Black Widow that can get one shot. I'm good. So I was playing Venom, and we're doing a retake or whatever, and this Emma's 100 charge. I walk up, she crystals me. And in the course of like a second and a half, she does 700 damage, and I just freak out. And someone in my chat asked why Emma's played over Mag, and that was the answer right there. That's why.
Right
That's why. Because she just did 700 damage to me instantly as a tank, with more base HP than Thor, by the way.
That's crazy. Yeah, just like save that clip as like a response. Anytime someone asks about it, I would just like hotkey. That's the clip. There you go.
Yep.
That is kind of insane. Okay, so talking about that a little bit later. Leg day, you just got off of casting all of the craziness that was happening in EMEA. I know we'll talk more about the exact results that happened this weekend for the playoffs, but the big headline is no Virtus Pro at mid-season. I gotta say, did anyone predict this from the casting talent that this could have been a possibility?
I mean, only if you've taken like 6 Benadryls and like filled out your bracket did you have Virtus Pro not making it to LAN, bro. It was absolutely uncanny. I mean, what I wouldn't give to be a fly on the wall in the Virtus Pro Discord after that loss. It must have been heartbreaking. I feel very freaking bad for them. But at the end of the day, it's just wins are wins, you know, and they managed to kind of fumble Araku. And like the big strength of Virtus Pro was in that they were a fairly reliable team when it came to generally doing the right thing when the chips were down. And unfortunately, you do the wrong thing once and it doesn't work out so good. It would have been such a good reverse sweep, but I'm a big Bobo Padpim head. I am somewhat reticent that maybe the next patch would have been a lot better for Virtus Pro. But
I think it would, yeah.
They took their time to get used to the new ban system. I think that really messed with them. They're probably going to be a lot stronger in season 2 when they probably task EQO onto doing all of their drafting and bans, or like have someone who's very much dedicated to that, because the bans definitely seemed like a net nerf for them.
I'm so curious like what their strategy is going to be going forward for that, because I feel like it's a monkey's paw sort of situation. They won all these events, like the fight nights that were going on for such a long time, had this insane record, but because they won all of that, they can't qualify for mid-season. Like, that's what they get for it. I feel like they definitely would have traded things out, would have rather just not had that streak and all that pressure on them, and then made mid-season, because it's such a big thing for the scene and for these teams out there. But again, we'll talk more about that as we go through the playoff results. Already on the other side of things for America's Nemesis, they had a decent run. They made it into stage 2, but unfortunately did not make it to the playoffs. Had the similar like top seed fumbling that we saw before what was going on. It just seems like America's was just a battlefield for all of the brackets and everything that was going on there.
It really was. Like, every single person that made a bracket was wrong. There's not a single person, especially Light. Especially Light. His bracket was the most wrong.
I'm just the bad Pachimari of Marvel Rivals, unfortunately.
Exactly.
It's between you and Dogman. You two are both absolutely terrible at predictions.
It is what it is.
Absolutely. And so, like, you know, there was a lot that kind of went into it, and I think that especially as a viewer, people can't really see what is happening with the pro teams like during the scrims and the weeks that like not only like leading up to the tournament, but of the weeks of the tournament, right? I think that the most stuff changes between, you know, Sunday and Thursday, right? As soon as that first game starts, when you're in the season, that's when everything kind of locks in of like what is regular. But like the meta in each scrim changes literally every single day of like what is becoming possible. It's also on a per team basis. Every team is banning specifically for each team, and there's just so much to keep up with. And if you stumble even once, that's it. And so the way I like to say it is, instead of saying, you know, Team Nemesis, FlyQuest, like that we didn't qualify for Ignite, that we finished first in our groups in Ignite stage 1, and then we don't go past that.
That's what Cyrus Nasty is saying as well in the NBA.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, while we fix some stuff in the background, let's bring up that fateful bracket that Light had for his predictions here, just to see, you know, kind of how things are going here. Then I'll show the difference with what actually happened on the other side of things as well for these specific matchups for each region. But in FlyQuest, we saw what happened there. Techie XD, they got the 2-1. Sentinels also looked really good afterwards. And then looking at the lower brackets, it was Envy who fell to the lowers instead of getting the victory. A lot of people were thinking Envy would do quite well at the start, but they just haven't had like any answer to 100 Thieves and Sentinels, and then how things are going for all of that as well. But like, just to get things fixed on your end here too, I think it's just because you're taking it from the video instead of like a specific stream and taking it that way. We'll see if we can like fix things on the back end for like the desync on that, but it might just have to be another way that we kind of fix things for audio on that side. But let me bring up the bracket here for like the full event itself so that we can see exactly how things went down for this season for at least the Americas stage, because this bracket, nobody could have predicted this. Nobody expected what was going on. Yeah, let me scroll up so that it actually shows all of it. There we go. So Ego Def taking down Nemesis, Techie XD taking down FlyQuest. That was like the big thing here. And already talking to you about like kind of the mindset. Okay, you guys lost to Ego Def there, and then you're going against Shroud X. Was there really any thought that you would have to worry too much against Shroud X based on like kind of the low floor we've seen there?
So like the biggest thing that ended up happening was we were really concerned about in group stage. Like we have to beat Sentinels just because we need to be first seed, because we were so confident going into Ego Death. Right. And it's like, as long as we can get that, as long as we can get the Ego Death game, then we'll be fine. And that was the whole thing that we've been talking about that entire time. But we had just kind of assumed that we would be fine against Ego Death and that we wouldn't need to change much up. And unfortunately, that kind of got into our heads. And so the ban lines, obviously, we let Black Panther through. Obviously, there was a lot of things where we let certain things happen, and it was just not the best showing, right? And so then, okay, it's fine because we're now up against Shroud X. We've never lost against Shroud X. It's going to be fine. But the mental was already shattered because for the weeks leading up to it, or at least in group stage, was, hey, as long as we get the Ego Death game, we have the freest bracket ever because we only have to win 2 games. Losing that first game, I knew from there, like, it was already done. Like, there was nothing that could recover the mental, and that it was just something that, like, there's something in the air, something in the water, where we just kind of, it was just sort of said and done at that point. And yeah, there were a lot of differences within the team of like opinions of how the bands should look or of what maps should be played. And we did our best to prepare for it. But at the end of the day, it's just sort of outplayed.
Yeah, and that tends to be what happens, especially with a lot of this too. Because like, this is the first real time we've seen this many teams of this high level play against each other. We haven't really had like consistent competition. Like, yeah, the fight nights are cool, but it's 2 series maximum if you're coming from the lower bracket, right? So it's not really enough to prepare you for this level of competition. And I feel like a lot of teams suffer because there was not top tier competition for like a couple months since we saw MRC, and even before then, Marvel Rivals Invitational. So like, so much has changed, meta's changed, all this other kind of stuff too. You can't be as prepared as you would like to be, and then because of how the way certain brackets were set up, you don't get a chance to play against all these teams. Like, if it was a full round robin league play style, it'd be different because then you would kind of know the positives and negatives of each of these teams and how things would go that way. I don't think we'll ever get to that point for like a league play system, just based on every month we're going to have a new hero. A league play system doesn't really benefit for that whatsoever. But looking on the other side of things here, Light, for FlyQuest. So Techie XD, talk to me about like what was going on in that series. We'll kind of break it series by series and like your guys' thought process of the tournament, because you guys looked really good. You came back through that lower bracket, as you can see, came out on top for the group stage specifically, and looked really solid after that. Like, what was the change up here that happened between then and this first round of playoffs?
I think for FlyQuest in particular, it's all about mentality. I think that we demonstrated to everybody that we have the capacity to be the best team. And I think everybody knows that too, like, especially based on our scrim results, and just how we've presented ourselves on stream. I think we got a lot better from the last MRI when we lost to 100 Thieves in the finals. And so if we can get our mentality straight to where we can always play at our hardest every single series, no matter who we're playing against, I think that we'll just be unbeatable. And I think that was our downfall versus Techie and Ego Death, where we like subconsciously didn't respect our opponents to the same degree that we would with Sentinels and 100 Thieves and Envy and that type of thing. So in this offseason, that's going to be our main focus, to make sure that we can develop our discipline, our mentality, make sure that we're doing, like, having a set plan for everybody and putting the same amount of effort into every single team, instead of just thinking, oh, we'll just beat that team, we're better. But I don't think any of the other stuff matters. Like, we just lost as a team because it just happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it happens at the end of the day. You show up to a tournament and you play the best that you can, and sometimes it doesn't work out. And again, this is just the first of many tournaments out there for Marvel Rivals, the highest level one, of course. But I think for a lot of people out there, they get disillusions, like, oh man, we're garbage, yada yada. I'm never going to stick with this team whatsoever. Let me do something else. It's like, it's the start of Marvel Rivals Esports. Yeah. There's time.
As devastated as we are that we didn't make it to China, like, everybody knows, like, especially within our team, that we have the capacity to be the best. And if we lock in and focus and develop our discipline and keep up with the meta and keep scrimming, we will be the best. And I think that everybody knows that too. We demonstrated that the weekend beforehand when we just like rolled everybody through that losers bracket.
Do you guys
About
know if
leaks,
there's any
like,
specific
what's the
oh yeah, you go League Day, sorry.
What's the current status of potential roster implosions in North America? Because in EMEA, it feels like Techie's dead.
Yeah, Techie's
interesting.
Dead.
I thought they overperformed compared to the resources they had.
Yeah, I was surprised whenever I heard that they were dead, but Techie's gone. Obviously, all the China teams are together. FlyQuest is still together. Shroudx is still together. Ego Death is still together. So it's just Techie. Basically, I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't really know much about Nemesis, but I imagine that they're still together too. Obviously, I can comment on that.
This is a great
everybody.
This is a great time to come in with my announcement that entering the off season, I'm actually officially LFT and LFO. I am stepping away from the roster at this time. It's a mutual sort of agreement. There's just a lot of differences in opinions for how things should be done, how much effort should be put into certain things, and yeah, at the end of the day, I love those guys. They are such hard workers, and I think they're going to still do really, really well. And so I'm happy to see them go on, and I'm sure that they'll find someone that fits a little bit better chemistry wise. But yeah, I personally am going to be stepping away from the head coach position and looking for other orgs to support either as head coach or assistant coach. And then speaking of like other rosters, there are a lot of changes that are going to be happening behind the scenes, things that I've heard, little inklings of movement. But the official statement from Marvel Rivals about what rosters can do, for the rosters that are already qualified for Stage 2, they're only allowed to replace up to 2 main players. But here's the catch, is that substitute players can be changed freely as long as they comply with the nationality and like foreign player requirements for the region. And so what might happen is if a roster really wants to change, what they can do is occupy those 2 sub slots with main roster players, right? Where they want the substitute slots to just sort of change out to be players that they will have. Then they'll have 2 players that are on their main roster sit permanently on the bench, and then that would still allow 2 players on the main roster to be changed. So you can, in theory, change 4 players on your roster as long as you're still complying with the rules for nationality. But there won't be any full roster swaps as far as like 6 players being changed on the on the whole going into Stage 2, at least for rosters that have qualified.
Someone who's like more familiar, I assume, with the back end side of things for managing a team. Are there any pricing requirements for substitute players, or is pricing entirely down to the teams themselves, such as like an org would handle that?
Yeah, that's entirely up to the org. So different orgs have different contracts. In EMEA, it's actually usually a little bit better as far as like weighted towards the players earning more. But in America, sometimes the org split can be a little bit higher. And then as far as substitutes, the industry standard is that a substitute player would earn a percentage of the prize pool that is equivalent to the number of games that they've played in place of the main roster player that they are replacing. So what that is to say is like, just to make it really easy, let's say you win $10,000 for the org. And let's say the players, just for the sake of easy math, players get 100% of it. If there's a substitute player that was playing for 50% of those matches, him and then whoever he's subbing out with, they would share the prize pool that they earned 50%. And so if you were to have a substitute player come in and then play the entire time, all 100% of the time, because they're acting as a main player, even though they're listed as a sub, they would still earn 100% if the contract is like industry standard. Sometimes subs can actually get really shafted with a very either a set really low split, or they could be set as the exact same as a main player. It really depends on the org. I've been part of orgs where sub players are completely free to play. I've been part where some orgs where sub players earn the exact same salary and are just benched. And so it really depends.
Interesting. I know that's going to be something that a lot of people are going to have to figure out for between now and stage 2, based on what you're saying, Artie, for that like requirement of, yeah, you could technically be a sub, but you're actually going to be on the main roster just based on the roster spots. How many subs are allowed in Ignite,
2.
by the way? 2 subs?
2.
Okay, that's what I thought. So like 8 team players total. So you could trade out for 2. Like you can just get rid of your subs. So technically you could have 4 main roster people, just 2 of them acting as subs, is what it sounds like.
Yep, basically. So you can have 2 subs in at any time, and then you can only change 2 main roster players. So you can effectively have 4 people change on your team. But yeah. And so like for Team Nemesis, for example, we have 10 staff, right? So we have a head coach, assistant coach, 6 main roster, and 2 subs. And so that is expensive for an org. So some orgs don't opt for that. Some orgs just want 6 main players and will have free to play subs. But like I said, it depends.
It's going to be interesting just to see. Hopefully too many players don't get snaked by their contracts. I know a lot of people still are kind of uneducated about things like that. So they could be on a contract where they do get a permanent bench spot and they're not able to play for like 4 months while we wait for whenever grand finals is going to be. That would suck for a lot of these players, especially if they aren't getting a salary during that time too, just based on their contract. I mean, we saw a scenario where a player who was on an Ignite team because they were a sub played in MRC, and then they had to leave their Ignite team and then had played in MRC. Didn't even make top 8 is what I heard as well. So it's like some weird scenarios going on for that. I won't name any names in that situation, but there's just so many different scenarios that can go on with the like contract negotiation and orgs and how things are going for that. I guess if TechieXD imploded, like that might open up a spot then for the qualifiers for season 2. Looking at those players, actually, we can actually look at these ones. So Tap, Blur, Brute, Waffles. Is it double AD or AAD? I'm assuming it's
call them
AAD. Ad. That makes sense. Yeah. And then Avery as well. I mean, I feel like this team should have stuck together in some capacity because of how well they did. I don't know about you guys.
It's probably, yeah, I think so too, but it was probably internal issues.
Yeah.
How do we do with the residency requirements? Because they're like half European.
Tap's in Tap is at Rutgers, I believe.
Oh,
So
yeah, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay, so
he
he counts as
citizenship
residency.
through like what is it called? F1? The F1 visa?
Yeah, so Liquipedia lists nationality, but Marvel Rivals operates on residency, which I think is much, much better. Because in Valorant we dealt with so many issues on that. It was such a struggle to work through that sometimes, especially when certain regions just weren't existent. Certain countries just not even listed by Riot Games. So I think that the residency versus nationality is just a much easier way to do things. So I'm happy that NetEase has kind of chosen that.
Yeah, we avoid the birth certificate ass kind of thing.
Oh, even worse sometimes. Yeah, it was a whole thing.
Man.
I had to resort to pleading through Twitter in order to get Mongolia listed as an Asian country and not EMEA. So
that's nuts.
Yeah,
no one at Riot Games owns a map.
Legitimately no. Like even like to this day, like
there's China.
Yep, Kazakhstan too was listed as EMEA because technically they were closer to Turkey, and like the Turkish server had the best ping, and so that made sense for Kazakhstan. And then Riot was just like, yeah, Mongolia is like Central Asia, and that's like the same thing, and yeah, okay, we'll do that. It's like the worst situation.
Jesse, if you want to bring up the winner graphic for Sentinels while we kind of talk about their run through these playoffs themselves. So they didn't look as good as they could have in groups, mainly because it was Nemesis who took them down there, shout out. But then they had a resurgence, a rebirth. They went 2-1 versus Envy, 3-0 versus TechieXD, 3-2 versus 100 Thieves in the upper brackets. And then in the grand finals, won in Game 7. Is Sentinels the best team in North America, Light?
No.
How would you say that? Even after winning?
Well, we have all the proof we
Why
need.
is better?
Okay.
We never played them in bracket, but I'm sure if we did, we would have beat them.
Valid. Okay. Out of the teams that went to mid-season, would you say they're the best out of those 3?
I don't know. We have the least amount of experience scrimming Sentinels And I'm pretty sure last time I talked to Yoki, who's our coach, he said statistically, as far as like our history playing each other, we're like 3-3 or 4-4 in officials, like since beta. Because they used to be Nightmare, like the core of that team.
Yep.
So I'm not sure. I'd have to play against them more, but just I don't know, based on like their strengths and our history and our scrim results, as little as it has been recently, I do think that FlyQuest is better.
Okay.
As far as like Sentinels or Envy, I'm not sure. I think it's close. I was expecting 100 Thieves to win that 4-2, but I mean Sentinels just clutched up. They like always
really
clutch
did.
up. Yeah. No, they got the clutch factor for sure. I think they just played really, really well. Yoki might have some stuff to say about draft. I usually leave that to him and Spark Chief because they spend a lot more time thinking about it than I do. But yeah, I think they'll definitely put up a show. I don't think they'll just fall over and lose. But it's hard to say how they compare. I think Envy is the worst of the three, though.
Okay.
Envy is going through something right now. Like they are just not as good as they used to be. I think people just figured them out. Yeah.
I honestly think that it's too early to say because we haven't seen anything in the new patch yet. I think that this patch is gonna be revealing a lot about these teams. And honestly, this patch is heavily weighted towards Envy, in my opinion, just based on what I've seen. I've scrimmed all three of these teams so much in the last like 3 or 4 weeks. And I think that it's really gonna just depend on what is able to be highlighted in their strengths and weaknesses based on these changes. But the other thing as well is that LAN is different, right? This for some of these, for all these players, actually, they have had experience boot camping. Actually, all three of these teams were able to boot camp in person before, which I think does give them a nice advantage. And I don't think that the EMEA teams have had that same opportunity. I don't think that some of the Oceania teams have ever had that opportunity. And so when it comes to like a world stage, I think that is going to be the biggest buff, is like having the experience of having played in person before.
It's going to make it a lot more embarrassing when NA get dog walked.
We'll talk about that in just a sec.
Okay, hold on. Pause. I gotta address that. Berber Patapim is the only team. Berber Patapim and Virtus Pro are the only two teams that are better than the top NA teams.
Luckily, we're sending one of them.
I don't think Z10 or Rad are like that crazy good. Like we haven't scrimmed them that much. But like I've been in some blocks with some EU players, and like just watching their draft and just talking about their games and stuff. Like I just don't think that they are at the same. Like I think it's like EU is a lot more top heavy, right? So you have like
EU does have like a big gap. It feels.
Yeah,
like.
if we look historically, right? Not just what happened recently, but if we look at Berber and Virtus Pro as like the top echelon, right? I think there's like a tier break and then the other teams and then another tier break and then the rest of them, right? Whereas NA, it's like FlyQuest, Envy, 100 Thieves, Sentinels, as I would say is like usually the top 4. And then there's not as big of a tier break. It's a lot more competitive, but that's where I would put like Nemesis and Techie and Ego Death and all the other teams. And then obviously like you have like this tier in NA, like the Nemesis, the Techies, the Ego Death that can take away from the teams up here. But I think if you were to play multiple series against them, or if you were to play like 10 games or something, most of the time you would see the top 4 in NA take the games off of the ones below them. Whereas in EU, I think that gap is a lot bigger. So that's why
for sure.
Yeah.
I think that the strengths of Rad and Berber Patapim are actually very different. I'd agree that like in terms of raw power rankings, there is a bit of a gap. Because Berber Patapim are kind of like mechanical monsters, and
they're insane. They're so good.
They will take any 1v1, and they will tend to just gap anyone who goes into a 1v1 with it. I think that Rad as a team are less mechanically impressive, but I think that Rad have a much more cerebral approach to the game, and I think that they're a lot better at identifying like good drafts. Like I think that Rad might be one of the best drafting teams at the moment. They managed to get one over on Virtus Pro just off the back of like research, thinking, okay, so if they don't have like a strategist, like they're giga fucked. And that forced VP to have like that second phase of a tournament have a different like cope draft where they had to protect Cloak and Dave. It's like, well, otherwise we just lose because we can't play rescomp because we're bad at that. I think that Rad might have an advantage going into early tournament here just off the back of the new patch. So I think that they're a big brain team. they might struggle in the second half of the tournament once other teams figure out their drafts and know how to like cope draft against them. I think that early on in the tournament, Rad might look fairly strong and maybe fall down when it comes to like kind of getting mechanically shitstormed by some teams.
I mean, so I know my predictions have been terrible, but just to put them up real quick.
Oh god.
I don't think this patch, I think this is the most nothing burger patch NetEase has ever released. Like they didn't there's a meme on my stream, there's like a picture of, they released all the pick and win rates of all the characters this patch. Magneto has a 33% pick rate on PC and Celestial and above and a 52% win rate. Like unbelievable. Ignored. Didn't get touched. Emma got a slap on the wrist. Torch didn't get touched. Like the torch nerf, because he's the anchor now for Spider-Man. One of the viewers in my chat, he's like a Torch one trick, and he did the math. It's like a 1 to 2% difference in his damage, like less.
He loses 0.275 damage per pellet.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's the same. Ultron, the nerfs like don't really matter. They don't change whenever he was good or bad. Like they hurt obviously a little bit, but like Ultron Torch is still going to be dominant. Guardians, I think, arguably got buffed, which is good for Sentinels. Because Mantis's healing is now percent base, like percent max health base, and her ult's overshield is higher. So it's like hard to, and they only nerfed the team up by 15 seconds. Like that doesn't matter. So Guardians is better. Torch Ultron is still the same. Emma Mag are still the same. Thing is Thanos now. Namor Hulk. Like
I want to know what they were taking, what they were smoking when they looked at the Thing and they were like, yeah, he could use another ability. Like,
like why are we taking away Hulk's niche? Like Hulk his best. Like there was nothing more boring than playing against Kreismang, playing Ultron or Torch, and just having him bunny hop at me the entire scrim on cooldown. And it's so annoying to deal with a good Hulk who just tries to tackle you on cooldown. But now that Thing can just point and click and do it himself, why would you ever pick Hulk? And the only reason is for Namor. As far as I'm concerned, Spark Chief, I was talking to him a little bit about it last night. He said Hulk is still fine, and he's got his situations. Like obviously he's a tank player, and I'm going to leave that assertion or that knowledge up to him. But in my opinion, I think you just play Thing all the time.
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
Emma Mag and 3 are still just the top 3 as they were last patch. So like I don't know if this patch actually changes anything unless Phoenix is like a difference maker. Because that Phoenix Wolf team up, oh my god. We're buffing Wolf. Like Wolf has lifesteal and a bird on his grab. Holy shit. Like
mark my words, there will be a match that is going to happen at Ignite. I don't know what the rest of the team comp is going to be. I don't know what it's going to be up against, but you are going to see Thing Hulk as a team comp, and it is just going to be so much more broken than people are expecting. Because on paper, that is garbage. I promise you that this is going to be rocking some rosters.
The problem with that is usually your Thing player and your Hulk player are the same person.
The same person, exactly.
Yeah. So you would have to have a shield tank player who's just a god at Thing or Hulk.
Let's not
right
pretend.
Here. This shit. What? Like what?
No cooldown on the knockdown, by the way.
He doesn't need this.
Exactly. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of flyers and Thing. It's, I swear to God, there's somebody on the Marvel Rivals like team that is just a Thing player, and it's like, yeah, wow, we're really in a flyers meta, and I can't play Thing anymore. I gotta fix that for me.
Yeah, same thing with Luna Snow.
Number one, baby.
Same thing with sorry, Hella Snow. Same thing with Hella Snow.
Absolutely.
That just
Hella
dodges a nerf
Snow.
every patch.
Yeah, I said from the very beginning that the moment that like they release a character and it's like a really hot woman, you have to learn that character. Somebody in your team has to main that character, because that is who is going to be consistently buffed every time. And somehow the Thing falls into that category.
Yeah.
He's a smokestack.
Just like a side note, like Invisible Woman, they said they were gonna buff her healing. They like it was the most like what the hell am I reading? It was they increased the healing on the like when the orb goes towards the target, but decreased when it comes back by the same amount. So it just resulted in nothing.
Dude,
like,
the team that made that patch change is the same. It's the same dev team on Twitch that does like the 6 font changes every freaking month.
Yeah,
like,
I
just
guess.
look busy, bro. We're changing Invisible.
Yeah,
Woman.
just look busy. Just give Emma a slap on the wrist. Ignore Magneto. Buff Hela. Ignore Thor. It doesn't like Thor could be over here in the corner always. Nerf Mr. Fantastic. Nerf Iron Man. Like what? What are we doing? Buff Wolf? What?
It is truly like we'll probably get onto full patch notes later, but
my
it is
God.
like the most nothing burger
We might
patch
as
of
well
all
do it
time.
here, then we'll go back to playoffs because we're talking about it. So let's quickly go through the patch notes because it's a lot that's going on there.
Oh my
So
God.
we were talking about Emma Frost
A lot of
and the
nothing.
thing. Yeah, a lot of nothing. Yeah. But the thing, getting that ability where they could just knock flyers out of the sky. I know there needed to be some way for like tanks to deal with flyers, but I don't think this was the way to do it.
You have Hulk, Strange, Mag. There's 3 options that are currently in the game that can deal with flyers, with more to be added down the line. There doesn't need you don't need to have every hero do everything.
Just take them out of the sky.
we don't need Overwatch 2 5v5. Every character can do everything type of design.
I definitely get that too. And as you were mentioning before, like Emma Frost, this really doesn't do too much. They actually buffed how often they're able to get their ultimate too, which is just
we can't go one patch without compensate buffing the top tiers. Like anytime that there's a nerf to a top tier character, we just have to give them something else in return, because why not?
Is it the hot girl kickbacks as Artie put it earlier?
Yeah, I guess.
Could be that privilege. The White Queen put privilege for that one.
Yeah.
Oh man, Venom also increasing their slow effects. So Venom's getting a little bit better too. I know they have some more like team up stuff going on there as well. You mentioned like the Human Torch nerf isn't really like that much at all.
It's like a 3%,
especially because they're getting a damage boost too.
Yeah, like it just actually couldn't matter less. It's
It's I mean, the thing is like it's from 6 to 5.5, and it is per projectile. I think there's 6 projectiles in each one of his thing, or
something like that. Yeah.
And so it's 8, I think. And so it is actually a significant damage boost or damage reduction. But at the same time, it's not going to change how much this character is picked anyway, because it is just still the amount of damage that comes at a burst. That's why he's super important. Like he's probably going to be getting a lot less final hits, but I don't think it's going to change his pick rate.
No, Artie, the damage increase that he's getting from the team up anchor, that 5%.
It's more the anchor, right? Yeah, the season.
Yeah, the anchor.
10%.
Like the whole reason that they nerfed it is because they knew that they were going to give him the anchor bonus, and they didn't want to buff him. So if you take the anchor numbers and you do the math, and I haven't done the math, it's just from a Torch one trick in my chat, so I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go ahead and say that he's right, because he only plays Torch. The damage
I
boost
think from the math
in conversation with the nerf.
0.275 per
Exactly.
pellet that he loses.
Yeah, like who cares?
0.275 per yeah, that's nothing.
Nothing. You won't even notice. Like, what is the point of even putting that on the patch or taking dev time to change those numbers? Like, less than a percent. Doesn't matter.
Look busy.
It's not much.
Yeah,
I've
doesn't
always
matter.
said that the anchor, like the seasonal, but whatever it's called, it is just so unnecessary.
Yeah, I hard agree with that. It's so
their
weird.
way to try and like change the meta in some way, but if they're like countering it by nerfing stuff, then it's more unnecessary than anything else, right? Because they're not actually letting it be the buff that it is, and they're making it so that it's kind of evened out in some ways, especially for that. How do we feel about this change with Namor, with their extra damage, with projectile speed, as with that and all that? Anything? Yeah, I mean, like, why are we touching them more?
I think I know why they nerfed Mr. Fantastic and Iron Man and Namor and stuff like that. Those have to just be like low elo nerfs. They just have to be. Those characters just have to be super dominant in those ranks. That's the only explanation I could have. But for Namor specifically, his win rate is horrible. It is so bad. It's like 44% or something like that with a 2% pick rate. But I guarantee you, if Namor was locked, unless Hulk was picked, like you could not pick Namor at all unless Hulk was already on your team. His win rate would jump to like 50%, like 55% easily. The Hulk team up completely changes the character.
Yeah, like when you see an unassisted Namor, you're like, oh, thanks for the free load, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. The character's terrible, like without Hulk. It's so bad.
But I think he can one-shot Onks now, so everything's coming up Namor.
Finally.
Cool. Finally. Yeah, because Moon Knight's so good and popular.
Countering Moon Knight, but 275 HP. Do put some respect on my name.
That character is so pathetic. He's 275. His right click gives him 350, and he's still useless. Just dies instantly.
Speaking of 275, Phoenix has 275 as well.
Yeah, she does.
And I think that like Moon Knight, like the damage that Moon Knight has is fine. Like the output is fine. It's just that he's so slow, and he has 2 movement abilities.
And
he has 2 movement abilities, and they're both useless.
Yeah,
actually 3 if you count the glide as a separate thing.
You know, the funny thing is that they've buffed his survivability 3 times. They let his team up heal him. Like, it heals him. They buffed his base HP and they gave him over shields when he hits his right click, and he's still terrible. Like, he still dies constantly.
Like, he's like a superhero that has
character.
never run a mile in his life. He is so
He's just a regular
slow.
guy, you know?
He's just a dude, yeah.
Yeah.
No, if you guys or if anybody watching has ever seen Jujutsu Kaisen, in season 2, not to spoil anything at the start, but there's a character that uses a giant mech because his body is so weak and frail, and if he goes into any sunlight, he burns to a crisp. He's like hooked up to all these different tubes in like a tub or whatever. His body's so frail. Or like what's that guy from Invincible? Like Robot? Like, you know, Robot's body?
Robot.
Yeah, that's Moon Knight. That's just Moon Knight.
Oh my god. Oh, it's so sad. I know, like, I feel like Moonlight's kind of more of like a low elo check than anything else because so many people just get like comboed against them and they just never destroy the onks regardless of what they're doing.
10 in the onk for fun. Yeah.
It's like, what are you guys doing here? Yeah. So we talked about the Spider-Man adjustments that were going on here. Even with the team up, it's an overall nerf is what you're saying, Light. So like, I don't know. I feel like they were in a better spot after we saw the earlier nerfs before, and if they just added the team up, it still wouldn't have made them too busted. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I mean, Spider-Man, okay, so it's tough. I understand Spider-Man is really annoying to play against, but he's different than Black Panther because with Panther, there's not like a lot of interactivity if the Panther goes in at the right time. Like, especially if you're playing like Loki, if your reaction time isn't like on point, if you don't play this game constantly, you will just get one shot and there's nothing that you can do, and I get that. But Spider-Man is much more telegraphed about his engages, and he doesn't have the same one-shot potential that Panther does unless you hit his grab. But even if you hit the grab, you still have time to retaliate with 50 billion different cooldowns.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Spider-Man is always a skill check. If you were dying to a Spider-Man, it's your fault and you messed up. Panther is different. Spider-Man is not. Like, it is just, it is a skill check.
100%. Spider-Man, like, the combos take so long to execute, even if you are light and you are doing them as absolutely the best speed possible. It's just, there is an opportunity that you can counter it, unlike BP, exactly what Light's saying. Yeah. But I think that with this patch, I do genuinely think that it's a buff, just because there's 2 tracers now that you can apply at the same time.
Yeah, it could be the case where with Torch, it's a buff. Without Torch, it's a nerf. If it's with Torch and he completely relies on Torch to be a character, that's where I'm starting to say, like, okay, well, it's still probably overall a net nerf because if Torch is gone, which he probably will be gone a lot because Torch Ultron is still broken and Torch is still top 3 DPS in the game, then, you know, like, why would I ever pick Spider-Man?
Yeah,
it's just kind of like,
true.
You ban Torch, you get a 1 for 2 right there.
Weird roster construction question here, because I don't really know how many people play Spider-Man. Are your Human Torch and Spider-Man players generally the same, or do they fall into like fairly different archetypes? Because usually we like have hit scan and flex DPS, right? And I assume those both kind of go into hit flex.
It depends. Like, on our roster, if we were ever playing that, I'm always going to be on Spider-Man since all 3 of us play Torch between me, Audios, and Energy. So whoever is playing at that point, because we have a rotation, I'll just be on the Spider-Man and one of those other 2 will be on Torch. But for other teams, I have no idea because nobody else plays Spider-Man except for Tanuki or Tanuki. I don't know how to say his name.
Tanuki, yeah.
I saw Self pull it out.
Mello plays Spider-Man, but Mello is also our Human Torch player, right? So usually it is the flex. It's not the hit scan that's going to be going for. It's not the aimer, but you absolutely could put the aimer on Human Torch. Like, Human Torch is not a difficult character to learn. Like, you can learn. I would put Human Torch in the same category as the Thing, where it's like, if you can't play either of those characters, scrim them for like 4 hours and you're fine. Like, scrim with these characters. Genuinely take a moment to sit back and learn the overall macro of where you need to be playing, because Torch plays differently to all flyers, right? Spider-Man, though, that is a league of its own, and you have to speak with Professor Light before getting the green light to play Spider-Man in officials. You have to be certified, exactly.
Yeah. I think Torch is like really low skill floor, but really high skill ceiling. Just playing Torch is easy. You just shoot your gun and then right-click and then build your box. It's really simple. But the movement tech that you can do with that character and how you can move and the potential, and just like the combos and building your wall right, and, you know, like, just
movement tech
min-maxing everything that you can
combos,
do.
reload timing, animation canceling. Because like a lot of people still don't know the right click combo in midair. A lot of people don't know using like to use the dive to get in and out, because like that is one of the biggest things is like the dive. And like how you play when you have your dive available is different to how you play when your dive is on cooldown. And a lot of teams still struggle with that because, oh, it's a flyer, I could go anywhere. But then depending on who you're up against, most of the time you actually want to play Human Torch down at the same level that all of your other characters are, as if he's walking. So there's a lot of different ways that you can play Torch, but he is still learnable to, especially if you're just going to be using him as external damage just to be the anchor for your goated Spider-Man player. But yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest thing that not enough people are talking about is the two tracers. And if you have Torch and Spider-Man allowed against a team that can play both of these characters, I genuinely think that this is a Spider-Man heaven. Like all ranked gold lobbies are in shambles right now because 100%.
Of this. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say for low elo because I feel like everything is good in low elo.
True. That's actually really true.
Yeah.
And in
low
pro
elo,
play,
you get the
two
most
traces is
spider.
extra setup time, right? So even more reaction time.
Yeah, so from the trailer with Spider-Man, he does have the tracer cooldown, like the fire tracer is 12 seconds. So I don't know if it's going to be good. It is 1 minute away until the playtest goes live. So we'll be able to see like exactly how it works. And I'm going to be testing it myself tonight for a while to see like if it's actually good or bad. But like, again, I don't need to test it to know that he needs Torch for it to even be arguable that he's better this patch, because his ult, someone did the math. I think his ult was like 396 damage down to like 340 something. Okay, fire. Yeah, because Spider-Man ult was a big issue. Yeah, there wasn't. I'm not getting Emma grabbed, or Mantis slept when it was nowhere near me, or Luna frozen in one shot, or Bucky hooked, or Bucky uppercut, or Hulk frozen. Like, there's just so many things that can deal with it. So the fact that it's like even being nerfed is just like, it just adds to the.
And here's the best part is that counter to all of the other like characters that can actually take out like flyers. The Thing has an auto lock on to take out the flyers. And
like why? Yeah, like why?
So Spider-Man, while previously being a character that would never even think about the Thing, genuinely the Thing is now like kryptonite, because you could just gonna get I could press a singular button and now I'm in your personal space. It's phenomenal. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Thing just on the leap is weird.
Yeah.
I
didn't even think about
like
that.
Wherever you were.
Yeah, like I think if a Thing were to waste his jump cooldown to like punch you, he's probably trolling. And you can probably just grab him if he does that, because it stuns him for like a second. It doesn't move him obviously, but if he ever does that, he's so easy to hit. If he jumps at you with his punch, you just grab him and then he'll look like a monkey and fall back to the ground, and you just laugh at him and like hang on the wall.
You know what you're not thinking about here is the Thing leap and then cancelling the leap into a Yancey charge, hitting you mid-air and breaking your legs.
If he does that, he's a god. If he does that, he's a god. Then that would just be like, oh my god.
At that point, I'm going Venom, bro.
The other thing is that
surely he can't do that, right?
It's not even about canceling the leap. It's about if the leap goes to wherever the flyer is when you hit the button, or if it goes to wherever the flyer is at the moment of contact. Because I think that there's a world where they programmed it to where it's going to actually land. Obviously, we will know after we play the playtest, but there's a world where the Thing just auto locks on, and so Spider-Man's going like 150 kilometers an hour this way, and the Thing is just flying through the air.
I think that's how it works. I think that's how it works, because Thing, his base jump, I think the way it's programmed is the exact same way. They just let you target enemies instead of allies. And with allies, if you throw Wolverine, you can follow him across the entire map if you want to. So I imagine if you jump to a Spider-Man who's swinging, you'll probably follow him too. So that's awesome. I can't wait to tweet that. Yeah, I can't wait to tweet that. Me swinging away.
He leaps off the map.
Yeah, me swinging away at 1 HP, and then a giant rock monster is behind me, and I turn around and I get fucking punched in my mouth. That'll be awesome.
Oh,
I can't wait to see this. It's going to be great. And again, shout out to all the streamers that are doing their coverage that'll be happening in the background. They're literally starting now. For all that, we might try and pull up some clips if people tweet them or tag me on Twitter at Vodible to see those on stream as well. But let's quickly go through these as well. Punisher was a mainstay for a lot of different rosters. It felt like during Ignite, just based on the way that they are able to get their ultimate charge so frequently and just be so effective against a lot of squads. Like, yeah, I don't know like how often we saw this specifically in EMEA. I only got more of a chance to watch the America side of things. But do you think this is a necessary kind of nerf to them when it comes to their ultimate charge and everything of that sort because of how effective they were?
I don't mind the ultimate getting a bit of an nerf. I feel like the culling turret I've always had an issue with. Like, I don't know why it had to have explosive bullets. Okay, so you got a turret and it does a lot of damage. It's like a 600 HP shield as well. And those things explode, which I'm not overly a fan of. I like the Punisher ultimate charge getting a bit of a nerf as well. The ultimate itself is pretty uniquely good in some cases in its ability to burst through strategist ultimates. So obviously you can do that with target focus.
Yep, that's like a really big deal that he's CC immune.
CC immunity really is I watched a couple MRC games that have been fumbled just from Punisher ultimates just falling through the cracks, and it feels like occasionally like the game could grug down to just like who can support their Punisher ultimate better.
Yeah, actually, yeah. No, the Punisher turret. Yeah. The turret nerf I'm like really happy about. Like, there was nothing that was more frustrating in pro play. If you're retaking a point on Koth and their Punisher is just like sitting on the back of the map, like up on some type of perch with the Sue shield, and then he's just firing down with his turret, and you're just crossing the beaches of Normandy with no cover on a Rocco on like the open map. like there's in our Match vs Envy map 4, this kid is literally like on the top perch, like he's a bird, with a Sue shield across the entire map. And you know, like the Araco point, where it's a giant circle and there's just like a little tree nub in the middle? Like walking across the point into that, you just lose. Like you can't, you actually, I remember the comms, like we could not do anything about it. We had to sit there and wait. There's like, we didn't have the damage because he's so far away and our fall off is too extreme. He has a Sue shield, he has his Punisher turret shield, and we just can't do anything. So like a shield nerf, like I can see why they nerfed the turret. That's a good change.
Yeah, like bro ain't even got an 11 kill streak and he gets the free AC 130. I don't know what the deal with that is. Kind of a good roll on supply crate or some shit.
AC 130 from Phoenix is going to be nuts. Speaking of, for that one too, but we'll kind of go over that in just a sec as well. Wolverine increasing the cooldown for their leap and the strike duration. I think that was necessary because that was really the effectiveness of the leap. I don't know how effective it will be in the nerf category because of all the buffs we're seeing with the team ups and everything else that's going on with Wolverine.
You missed some. The strike duration was increased from, well, Winter Soldier too, but the strike duration was increased from 4 to 5. So in classic fashion, we can't just nerf a hero. We have to compensate buff them in some way. So
the reason he's hot.
I don't swing for that team, but if you do, or if anybody else does, that's your prerogative. But with the Pharaoh leap, the reason why the extra second is significant is because in the past, when they nerfed him, they made it to where his rage, it was slower to build up whenever you were slashing people, which meant that you did less damage to tanks. And this is a significant breakpoint because with Magneto, when you bubble somebody, before you grab them and you could break the bubble and still kill the target while your Pharaoh leap thing was active. And so now it might be the case where you can do that again because of that extra second. It might change the breakpoint to get through the mag bubble to get enough damage out to kill the target before they can get sustained. And it definitely will be if you have Jean on your team. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That team up is broken.
It's insane. I get it. I get why you want to like do what you can with the new heroes out there, but this is, I think, the most busted hero that they have ever introduced into the game of Marvel Rivals, and it's going to be insane for everything. Well, apart from Emma Frost, that's true. Yeah. In terms of DPS, in terms of duelists, though.
Extra second of lifesteal is going to be big as well with a GM team up.
Exactly too. Are we talking like the strongest state of any DPS? Or are we talking like, because I think release Hela.
You know, that's true.
Release Hela, Psylocke with team up last patch, and obviously Torch last patch.
Nah,
I think all three of them are stronger than Wolf.
Stronger than Wolf for sure, but it depends on the lifesteal. I think Phoenix.
Yeah,
if that lifesteal is as strong as it looks,
unreal. Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
We'll see. Yeah.
It'll be a tank shredder.
Yeah. I remember when they buffed his base HP to 352 for no reason.
I don't know.
He's
I
at
don't know.
300 and they just made it 350. Let's go.
I think Wolverine's also a skill check for low elo because like a lot of people just don't know how to play Wolverine in low elo, and then that's such a
Or play
an issue
against
for
him.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
or play against them, yeah. Because like
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just
There's-
kind of crazy seeing the difference there.
The thing about Wolverine is like a good Wolverine player is able to kidnap somebody and bring them into your backline. And in low elo, like even in like GM like piss low, it's like people don't know how to play as a team to prevent something like that from happening. And so a good Wolverine player goes really, really far.
His ult is
Yeah.
insane too. His ult
Oh,
is
and
so
the-
good.
Oh,
Insta delete backline. If you
It
let a
is-
Wolverine in your backline, it's done.
It
That's it.
has to be the best DPS ult in the game, no?
I always say that if
Like,
if you miss a Wolvel, that's like literally half your team's potential down the drain.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a DPS ult that's better.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most uncounterable ones, and because it's like short duration, you can't really like kill them out of it very easily.
It's forced movement. It's forced movement, which
Yeah.
is like such the big deal too. Like
Especially
you can
on
do,
like Convergence and Convoy. Oh my gosh.
yeah, you can push people out of Su ult and Cloak ult as well, or you could do the classic scoop and poop, which is where you feral. My invention, by the way, I coined that. I invented that.
Nice,
It's where you do your feral leap, and then you ult in the air, and then you ult back into your team. Now,
That's
it
a good
doesn't do
one
any
too,
damage
yeah.
because you have 0 rage, of course, but like still, that like being able to move an entire enemy team wherever you want is broken.
It's kind of nuts, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than like the clobbering time too, where you just like stun people and like pop them up in the air and all that
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
there's no
it
wind
takes them
up.
completely out of it, yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
no, you just stunned instantly, and then you're just at the mercy of him slamming you into the ground.
Gotta hope
It's a
it
little
ends
bit
up.
buggy though. Like if they fixed like some of the weird bugs with it when it comes to like
yeah.
catching shit, then it would be
Yeah.
incredibly
No.
busted. Sometimes
Like,
it's like a
there's
10%
a-
chance you survive.
There was like 3 months ago, there was a bug with his ult. It was so frustrating, where you would ult and you'd pull all the targets to the center, and then they would just teleport back. It was so
Oh
bad.
yeah, I forgot.
I don't know
about
if
that.
anybody remembers that bug, but
Yeah.
oh my god, that like he's so buggy even to this day. The grabs don't work 10%
Like
of the time.
he's our Doomfist, you know.
Yeah, he actually is.
I feel like he's always going to be like some sort of meta too, especially with this like team up ability. It's just nuts.
Yeah.
And honestly, so one thing that I've figured out in my studies is that grabs are ping based, because I've noticed that when we scrim
Yeah.
Asia teams or we scrim EU teams, no matter what hero it is, even like Groot ults like can be different because it's a grab of some sort. And so any sort of thing that moves players is ping based, and it's like there's still a lot of testing that needs to be done to figure that out. But yeah, it's anything that grabs is right now underrated in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I can totally see that. So let's go over the strategist changes here. You were talking about how like the Sue thing like isn't what you were hoping
Look
for.
busy.
Yeah. This isn't. Yeah.
This is the Sue changes are questioning my hot woman theory, but at the same time I do think that it's like I don't know. I think this is adding more skill to Sue Storm in a sense where
That's
it's you know where yeah, it is cope. It is cope.
Like it's just trying to reach to find what the logic is here, because surely like there is something that we're missing, right? Like they know something we don't. That's the only explanation.
Has to be.
Like
Maybe
they're
maybe
Let's
it's
just-
like they have data. They probably have data to see where like when the orb hits and returns, and they can see that like that healing amount. And maybe this is in line to kind of bring up lower elo players to the same level, or maybe this is to I have no idea what this could be, but
Well-
this has to be based on some sort of data they have, right?
Yeah, what says that it's her healing is more reliable and like the tiny little text there. So
Yeah.
maybe people are just missing the return. But
I think most people
I
are
don't
missing the
play Sue.
return in like lower elo and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't play Sue, so I don't know. But I'm pretty sure it returns like really quick. Like I
It
don't know how that's
does,
even
yeah.
possible.
It's just all those Zoomers who have like the highest sentence that they can ever, and then they're just trying to like do whatever they can to like heal people. They don't know how it works, so they're like, "Why isn't it getting the maximum healing?"
Let's just make her easier to play in like the most.
Maybe this is like the inverse gold elo buff to try and make better Sue players get more triage capacity just from the faster healing on the out.
Could be.
But I feel like the lower elo you are, the more likely you are to just miss with Sue and maybe get some return value from just like someone accidentally strafing into it. Maybe this is going to give like a better.
This is.
We're trying to like
all of this is the code
Of,
conjecture.
like, why are they doing this? And we have no idea.
Yeah.
And it's not even by that much as well. Like it's literally only 5 points. And that honestly, just because the fact that it's like the first orb hit has the benefit, genuinely, I think it is somewhat of a buff because I think that there's more chances that even, if your Sue is in position, it doesn't mean that everyone else can't leave really quickly after you've already fired. And so I think that it is a net buff overall, but it's still just like the weirdest minute they could have just not done this.
Yeah, honestly, and I don't think anyone would have noticed anything. Looking at Loki, we saw how Loki was like banned the most out of almost any character, aside from Emma Frost and Magneto during Ignite. Do we feel like this plus 300 to energy cost is really going to change anything?
Needed more. It needed to be at least 4,500, at least. But at least they also did this with Mantis.
I mean, what is the difference here? Like 5%, like if that.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
it's like 7.5%.
If we look at the support roster. And then we look at Loki, Luna, and then we ask ourselves, how far ahead are these characters above the other characters? Do we really think 7.5% on the ult charge is going to make a difference?
Nope.
Like we're not going to nerf the lamp. We're not going to nerf the actual duration of the copy. Maybe we nerf the fact that he gets full HP when the copy ends for some reason. Maybe he shouldn't get full HP whenever he maybe he should have to build the ultimate when he copies, something that actually reasonably impacts the character. Maybe, we do something cool and interesting and actually make him the god of mischief and make it to where when he copies somebody, it can't be a support, so we don't get 24 seconds of tranks. But when he does that, they half the cost of it, so you can just spam copies constantly, but you don't have to play against 24 seconds of I have to AFK. Like you guys have no idea how many times I've played Black Panther and I'm about to go in, Luna tranks, all right, I'll wait my 12 seconds behind this wall, and then the Loki copies, and then I'm just like !24 in chat because I just sit there like this. I literally do this and I wait for 24 seconds behind a wall.
7.5% is
it just
nothing
means
in the grand
literally
scheme of things.
nothing.
It genuinely, because if you play as much as we do and watch the scrims as much as I do of like. It's so often where like Loki has his ult and then it's still like 20%, 30% before Luna does anyway.
Yeah. Every time.
By the time, every time. And so that extra 7.5%, okay, now Loki will have the ult, 12% before the Luna does or 20% before the Luna does. Still, the same timings are going to happen. Yeah. It doesn't change a thing.
Literally nothing, and that's like this entire patch is Loki is nerfed by 7%, Human Torch is nerfed by 0.27%, Mr. Fantastic is nerfed. Like it is actually
nerfed. We skipped that.
It is the most nothing burger patch ever.
Oh my gosh. Looking at Mantis here specifically, I know they were saying like they got some more potential from their ultimates. There's some different like healing effects there. They're wanting to be more effective. I heard people, or not heard, but I saw on Twitter, people were like, oh, this is just a buff to the Asian teams. How do we feel about that claim? Because they use Mantis so much.
It is. I watched all of the Asia MRIG stuff, and I am so Mantis pilled after watching all of it because like even in our scrims, like when we scrim Gen G, right? It's like they use Mantis in ways that other teams don't. We call it dry Mantis because usually you only see Mantis in the like in the team ups with like for Guardians, but they just run Mantis because the damage boost, right? The 12% damage boost is genuinely enough, especially when you combine it with other vulnerability. I mean, right now there's not many vulnerability things in the game. It's really just Cloak and Dagger. But
yeah, Cloak and Dagger.
You combine that with Cloak and Dagger, and you have the most broken just like damage boosting in the game. And so now that her ult takes longer to charge, cool. It's still not crazy, but the buff that happened to it now is honestly, this is a huge buff for Asia teams. And I think that this is the Marvel Rivals team that, hey, we're about to go to international LAN. Let's help out the home team a little bit.
honestly, guys, I think that this Mantis change also doesn't really matter that much. I actually can't even tell if it does, because they changed the healing to be % max health. I'm assuming it's % max health and not current or missing. So if it's 2.5% max health, they cut the healing down from 20 health a second to 12.5. It's going to be better for tanks and worse for squishies, if I understand it correctly. Which means if you're healing more tanks, you're going to be building your ult faster. So you're probably going to build it at the same capacity anyways, because your tanks take more damage than everyone else. So you're just getting the ult at the same speed, hypothetically, right? And then the extra bonus health, most of the time, that extra 100 health that you got didn't even matter. It is a net buff overall, because 2.5% a second makes up for the difference, the 20 to 12.5. If you have a 250 HP character, 2.5% is 6.25, which is essentially the same thing, right? One a second less, right? So it's like whatever. Okay.
So
yeah.
it's
so it's a buff.
Genuinely, it is a buff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So her healing is buffed because she can heal tanks better, which means that you're going to build your ult at the same speed anyways. And then the max health, if you get Groot grabbed, you're dead anyways. You're you should never ever PSA to support players: do not Mantis ult when you get Groot grabbed. 90% of the time, you will die. You will just die. You will waste it and you will die. Most of the time, when you're using Mantis ult, you're just using it. You're using the movement speed to reach the enemy backline, and reach just means you run at them and you KO them, and that's it. That's the niche for it. But that extra 50 bonus health that you're gonna get, the healing is already good enough to where if that's the main strategy that you're using, that doesn't matter. So again,
most
it's
tanks
just
are now going to be healed about 30 a second with the new change. So it is kind of broken.
I think the ult change doesn't matter at all, and you're just buffing her healing to tanks, which is fine, and that's why I think it's a buff to Guardians.
Speaking of Guardians, we did see an adjustment for that for the revival. So increase Leader's Soul and Nature's Soul ability cooldown from 120 seconds to 135 seconds. Do we feel like this is enough of a nerf?
No,
Does this really
not
change
even close.
things too much?
Not
I don't
even
think
close.
so.
Not even close. Just another nothing burger change.
Yeah.
15 seconds. I think maybe there'll be a time where you're on Koth, and the Adam Warlock is only able to res once instead of twice. But 9 times out of 10, if
it doesn't affect
you self-res twice.
It doesn't affect Adam. Adam is still 105. This is just for Star-Lord and Mantis.
It's just Star-Lord Mantis. Yeah, this changes absolutely nothing.
Yeah, and how many times? So a viewer, go back and clip how many times we said this doesn't matter over the patch. And that's what we're saying. Literally every single time. It's just been doesn't matter. Doesn't matters.
Mantis matters. Mantis matters. Mantis matters because now Mantis Ultron comps can actually work. Because your tanks are actually able to sustain.
Which was already being played. So we'll just play Mantis Ultron Torch.
Okay, I want to know, what do we feel about the Squirrel Girl Squirrel Missile ability?
Oh my god.
Well, I personally think this is going to be excellent against Spider-Man. I want to see Light using all 3 swings, going through New York, being chased down by some kamikaze squirrel.
But don't worry, the squirrel is safe. DeYoung made sure to tell us that. Don't worry, the squirrel jumped ship. But don't worry, guys.
They don't want people coming after them.
Thank God.
Exactly.
No.
Does that have a little parachute that comes out with it?
The team up is terrible, okay? It's terrible, but that's not the point. It's 20-second cooldown for guaranteed 80 damage. The point is that you're adding an ability that you throw. And Overwatch already did this with Cassidy. No one liked it. That sticky magnetic grenade. No one likes it. You just throw an ability. There's nothing to do on the other end, as a player, playing against it. You can't do anything about it. It just does damage to you, and it is free damage, and that should never, ever be in the game. Scarlet is the only character, I think, in the game that has literal guaranteed damage that is unmissable. And it's capped by the fact that it has low range, It does no damage, and her entire kit is mid. Like it's very tame compared to the other stuff in this game, especially her ult.
Yet so many people play her for some reason.
Yeah, these
Accessible.
kinds of damages, like that sticky grenade on Cass and this, is like the gaming equivalent of like taxes. Like they're just there.
Yes. Oh
and
my
they
god.
fucking suck.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's just a tax.
Taxes.
It is just a tax.
Oh
It's
my
just-
gosh.
Yeah.
That's
That is such a perfect comparison.
Thoughts on the government stealing money from us?
Yes.
Woohoo!
Oh my god.
Hela joins the symbiote shenanigans there, so they get like a healing tendril thing as well for their side. That's interesting to see that being added in as well. Also, not having the Human Torch and Storm team up is nice on that side of things too. I feel like we saw more Jeff Nato than the Human Torch Storm team up too. So
the problem with Storming Ignition is that, so for those who didn't know, Suult was bugged for like the entire patch. It did double healing than what it was supposed to. And they finally fixed it and didn't say anything. So right when Storming Ignition is actually good, they remove it. Because you can actually kill through Suult with that ult because of the way how it works. It's a box that doesn't move. So the Torch can actually put his tornadoes on targets and the Storm can stack it and then people will actually die. Because the base damage doesn't change from the Storm ult. It's just the duration and the radius. You have to get the Torch's tornadoes with the Storm the Storm on top of a target in order to kill them through the tranks. But the problem is that is the only support ult that can't move. Cloaks moves, Lunas moves, Loki's just copying whatever, and then Mantis's also moves. So team up was worthless, and the only niche that you had was into that if you wanted to kill through a support ult. But that doesn't matter anymore because it's gone. Because most of the time, if you tried to kill through a support ult, you're just wasting both of your DPS ults for nothing. So you would just Storm ult, get the Trank out, and then Johnny ult, or vice versa. So this being out of the game doesn't even matter.
I mean, the thing is like, you have with Sharknado as well. Like Sharknado still pulls, like it just pulls people out.
It just kills you. Yeah,
you just move and it does so much damage. It's like what 300 damage a second or 250 damage a second, like Sharknado. So
I have no idea. It's something crazy.
Yeah, Sharknado is actually pretty busted, but it is still survivable in some ways.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there are definitely
the
some
Human Torch and Spider-Man one, by the way.
Yeah. So we'll see. I'll have to look to see. I like how it pushes Spider-Man back. Like that's good. It adds more movement options, and you could probably. I wonder if you can use this without targeting a player. So you could use it for movement, right?
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Oh, the Tracer as a movement ability.
Can I swing in with this team up? I swing in and then I throw it to the side or something to instantly change my direction. Get around a corner.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a sick way to dodge a Lunas freeze.
I still think that you wouldn't want to do that anyway. I think that you could use it to dodge momentary damage, if you're going after a Wolverine. But because the fact that it's an additional tracer, I think it's going to be used more as a combo to you do the regular tracer first, hit whatever combo you can hit, and then hit this one for that second ability. Just now he's got a second tracer on him, and it does damage over time.
So
this
combo,
I think kills more.
We'll see. The problem is that it's damage over time, where the symbiote bone was burst, and burst is more relevant than damage over time because of how strong
100%.
healing is in this game. But a combo I can see, for example, is you could fly at the target, you tag them with this because it seems like it's pretty hard to miss. It seems like it's a big AoE blast, and that marks them. You zip at them, you uppercut them, and then the uppercut will make it easier for you to hit the tracer. You do a drive-by. And then you can do the get over here and then uppercut them again.
Yeah.
And that would kill them.
My biggest question is if it is if you're able to actually get multiple tracers on multiple people with one use of it. So
that's a good question. Yeah.
If that applies multiple tracers, I think that we actually will see Spider-Man in Red.
That is a pretty big AoE.
Yeah.
So do we know if this AoE applies for Tracer to everyone that gets hit?
It could. I have no idea.
It could. Maybe it does. Even if it does, it's not because of the uppercut nerfs. Most of the time, you're not going to be proccing the tracer on multiple targets with an uppercut. So
because they made it smaller. If it does give multiple tracers, that would at least give a slight buff to old generation. But then again, it would be compensated for elsewhere by just regular tracer and losing some damage.
So I'm sure that they had some godlike Spider-Man player in the playtest that said that he needed to be nerfed or he would be broken. Let's just give him the benefit of the doubt.
Probably. And then there's the Wolverine one as well for this too.
Don't show me this. No.
Yeah.
No.
It's just you know,
I
it's
forgot about
crazy.
this.
Yeah. Just extra damage after leaping. I don't think it was necessary to add
and
this.
lifesteal. And
life
lifesteal.
steal. Yeah.
Don't forget about that.
Yeah, the lifesteal and
Oh,
the
man.
additional 1 second for the leap. That like it's crazy.
Just making leaping squishies even more valuable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
Absolutely. Surely the damage of this is percent max base, right? Or is it flat?
No
They haven't
idea.
said yet.
Especially given the fact that the thing is now more relevant than ever, and they didn't get rid of fastball. So you have two leaps.
He is fastball too.
You have
Let's go with
two.
this.
You have 2 leaps. So if you have Phoenix, Wolverine, Thing, this is now protect the president more than ever. And I think that
Yeah.
Phoenix, Wolverine, Thing, and Mag, I think is meta.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, 100%. This character, like I don't know if it's going to be Wolverine that is like the pick or ban this patch, but this is definitely the strongest. Like if you get this pair in the game, this is the strongest in the game easily because Wolf was already hard meta before this patch.
Let's see.
And now it's just like you could probably just play him into his worst conditions if you have the team up because of the lifesteal.
This is
Yep.
Jean,
And
by
on
the
top of
way,
that,
for those who
yeah,
haven't seen.
Jean, she also, the reason why I think the team up is percent max health is because this character is percent max health. Like her ult,
Exactly.
whenever it gets to the ult, it does a ton of damage to Groot and Penny, but not as much to the squishies.
Or is it a good time to have the best hit scan going into LAN? Poki's about to dominate.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I think
Oh
she's
my
just better
gosh.
Moon Knight. We'll see. I think she's still vulnerable to characters like I think Star-Lord will give him a hard time, actually, like Star-Lord, Psylocke, Iron
could
Fist,
see that, yeah.
ironically.
Every one of her abilities self-heals.
But the region isn't that much. Like, look at her health bar.
I mean, it's not that much, but again, like it is
I mean,
just enough.
yeah,
Like
give
the
her
tactical nuke
orb.
ultimate.
Yeah, give her orb on top of her self-heal. Never mind, this character is just Thanos. Yeah. What am I
Self-heal is
thinking?
also kind of nuts too for that as well. It's basically a Thanos snap with her ultimate. It gets rid of all of the like deployables that you can have. So Groot walls, any of the BRB beacons that are out there, the amplifier too.
Apparently,
you
it gets
can't
rid
do
of
anything
strange
against it.
portals too.
Yeah.
Really? Oh
Apparently,
my! Wait, nuking the portal could be the because you can like just hang around for 20 seconds, like if you've completed a fight,
Yeah.
and the
I think
second
it's
the
a
strange
Junkrat
portal
tire.
comes, yeah, you're just
Basically
hanging
is,
out there
yeah.
like a freaking predator drone, waiting for the thing to open.
Yep, enjoy.
I imagine flying it
So
through
let's
the
see where
portal
it
into
was.
the
It
enemy
says
team as
inspect.
well.
At 20 seconds.
Yeah, we're
Oh
going to
my
see some
God.
cool ass plays out of this, but it's going to be busted. So it's a
It
cast
can be destroyed
thriving.
though. It can be
Oh, it
destroyed.
can
It has 400 health.
Okay.
Oh, good eye. Yeah, I'm sorry. I could deal 400 health to something moving that fast. That's that
Yeah, I
small,
know, right?
going vertically. I don't think Marvel Rivals players have the best vertical tracking if we're talking pure performance. So this
I think it's
is
fairly big.
Yeah,
It seems to have an equal wingspan
wonder-
to like Hella there.
I wonder if
Got
Mag can eat
400
it.
right there.
I think Mag should be able to eat it.
Destroys that.
Oh
ult.
yeah,
Okay.
Mag
Poor
should
Hell.
eat it.
Yeah. I'm sure there's like things in the game that could just do damage to this thing. Like Mag could probably eat it, and like I don't know, like Torch's ult when he pops it does like an AOE burst that just hits everything around him. It's only
That's
80
true.
damage, but like
Yeah,
I'm sure
well,
that there
it's
are
100
things in the
damage a
game.
second. Yeah, it's
That's so
No, I'm
nuts.
not talking about his. I'm not talking about his tornadoes. Like when he pops his ult,
yeah, the burst.
like the burst that does damage. Yeah.
Nerf that. Another nothing burger change.
Well, I think
Minus
that if you
damage
can,
on the burst.
yeah, the burst.
Yeah.
But I think that if you're able to throw a fire tornado at the bottom, that would still at least be another 100 damage to it if you're able
Yeah.
to predict where it's going to hit. And so I mean, look at how much damage this took going down was
Exactly.
like
It almost
yeah. So I
breaks.
think yeah. So 100 damage to it with a fire
yeah, that's
tornado
true.
would be enough to kind of put it in that threshold.
Yeah, I think a competitive team, like a tier 1 team that focuses it, could probably break it reliably. But we'll see.
Mhm.
Not to mention
Yeah.
just throwing a Groot wall at it, but I think that's kind of where this is really strong is because it comes like from an AC 130 and you can get around Groot walls.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things like it's going to depend on the angle of attack.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't exist as an entity that can be mag bubbled.
Oh my god! Can you imagine?
Yeah. No, there's just no way. There's just no.
I don't
it's
think it will.
projectile.
I don't think it will. That'd be nuts.
That'd be insane.
Does it
one
break?
thing,
Do you guys know if it breaks shields? Like, would it break the shield and then do damage to the target, or would it just the shield eats it?
it looks like it's just burst damage. So I think the shield would eat it. Loki lamps would eat it. I think that you can think of it like a Meteor M that has health.
Yeah, that's what it seems like too.
It's like a TV missile Meteor M.
Yeah, I need to see how much damage, like the damage boost thresholds, this takes in order to one shot too.
True.
So a lot of this stuff is contingent on how that interacts with each other. This ult will either be broken or terrible.
Yeah. Especially like how fast you can like go down with it too, because it looks like it takes some time to just give people enough wiggle room to react to it as well.
Yeah.
It breaks shields is what the tooltip says. Oh yeah, because they're doing the streams for that stuff now as well. I'm sure there's some clips about that. If anyone has clips for the just a screenshot of, actually I could probably find it from Miller Ross. He probably tweeted it. Now I think about it. No, he hasn't tweeted it yet, so nobody's put that information out there yet. But yeah, there's like insane stuff that'll be talked about for this. Okay, perfect. I can pull that up. Thank you. Sorry, Nightbot just went against you. So this is the ability details. It's kind of cut off by my camera at the top here, but Cosmic Flame, so it has that, but it's the end song Inferno. Thanks, Jesse. So someone just got a Phoenix crash down and it enemy summon shields and any bonus health enemies hit are applied with 1 spark. Interesting.
Okay.
Criticals apply 2 sparks or 3 sparks. She triggers a firing explosion. 1 spark to enemies. A round healed over time.
Yeah, it's an interesting mechanic.
And there's a delay before they can stack again. And then her TP leaves behind a thing that does spark. Okay.
Yeah,
movement speed.
So you could just straight up apply. You can keep people infinitely sparked if you get headshots then.
Yeah.
So you can apply 2 sparks by using your
with a headshot
illusion. Now, if you use your illusion and then your right click, it stuns. Yeah. Awesome.
It stuns, which means you can get the headshot, which means there's 2 more sparks.
I literally said on stream yesterday when I was watching this, I was like, okay, this looks like a range character with mobility. That's fine. She's not. Someone in my chat said this is just Hela, and I was like, no, it's not Hela. She doesn't have a stun.
Yeah, it is. It is Hela.
But of course, we have to give every character a gun, the ability to win at close range against melee heroes. We have to give them all stuns.
This character is never seeing ranked. This character is never seeing ranked.
Oh my god.
The first blast stuns enemies while the subsequent 2 explosions inflict a slow. Okay. And applies a spark.
So it's just going to have like a similar targeting reticle to like a Loki clone?
Oh man. That's going to be nuts, is all I got to say.
Yeah, it deals percentage damage. In this state, Wolverine gains the ability to life steal and inflict. Yeah, okay, so his fucking grab. Actually, No, you don't even have to grab. Like, look at that.
Yeah,
like, it's even more broken. You don't even have to grab to get the percent lifesteal. Like, what?
That's crazy.
Wait, so
and also,
his right click
it's just active all the time.
Also, with
after they use the Pharaoh Leap, it says.
The illusion looks like it's also going to just be like instant escapability from anything, because you can TP out of something and it leaves the illusion behind, and then it detonates it as well.
Yeah,
and then
if you get grabbed by Wolverine, you can use that.
Oh my god!
And of course, that freaking thing explodes and does damage. Why not?
It does damage, and then you just hit one. You just hit one more headshot, and then they're sparked or whatever, and they're exploded, and then you still have one more movement ability and one more stun. Easy.
Wait,
this is
another thing I want to point out too
as well.
Yeah, another thing I want to point out is
it reloads.
The ult removes overshields.
Yep. Yes.
Question is, will that happen before or after the damage instance? I assume at the same times.
Surely it depletes it and then does the damage.
It's the shockwave that destroys enemy summon shields and any bonus health.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
That is nuts. So imagine you have 2 sparks on you, and then the end song Inferno happens, and then you explode after the ult itself too.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Oh my god.
This is gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, this is. And let me go back to the video just to show everyone how this is kind of working as well, just so we can look at it too. So yeah, it's just gonna be kind of just fun. It's gonna be a good time for anyone playing against this. That's all I gotta say.
Enjoy.
It's a great
Enjoy,
time to be
everyone.
a caster. Is what I'm getting from this.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That was
Is it
gonna be
at least-
hyper shit.
At least before you had an understanding of why you were dying, but now it's like, okay, I have damage over time inflicted to me, and I'm exploding, and I have no idea where
Getting
this person
stunned and
went.
slowed with
'cause
the right click.
She Loki cloned away, and Human Torch like leapt away, and then she hella ulted me. Oh my god!
My god. Yeah.
W.
So,
PTSD simulator.
that's all I gotta say.
Is she
It's
gonna be
go
playing
crazy
at
on
night?
land though if it gets through.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't think this is ever getting through.
We'll see. We'll see.
We'll
Might
see.
be. It might be piss broken as permaban, but if you
Oh, yeah,
ban, there's just too many things that are good, and this patch is just such a nothing burger that like, if you ban Phoenix, well then Wolf might get through, Torch Ultron might get through, Guardians might get through, Storm Punisher might get through. It's just like so much. There's so much stuff
Yeah.
that you
Much
could
stuff.
play, so we'll see.
Plus, shit always looks broken in like the hero showcases. They got everyone
Yeah.
on their best red coat behavior.
It's the best
Yeah,
time to like
exactly.
have broken heroes so people try it. They get the new costumes out there. They spend more money. They play the game when casual, so you can't ban anyone. So there's guaranteed to be, this as well for quick play. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. We'll see exactly how stuff's gonna go for that as well. But mid-season's gonna be fun because all this stuff's gonna be available for it. At least they're giving them like the maximum amount of time because it's gonna be in August instead of July. Jesse, if you want to bring up that graphic, they did announce finally that it is going to be in China. It's going to be in August here for the LAN that'll be happening for Ignite there for the mid-season finals. So thankfully we have at least a window. I'm assuming it'll be before season 3.5 though. It wouldn't make sense for it to be later just based on how they also said back in the day that the qualifiers for stage 2 should also be in August. I know you can't say anything leg day, of course, so I'm not going to ask you to, but in terms of like Light and Artie for this, I mean, will this be enough time for teams to kind of like learn the season, especially with the new changes, or how do you feel?
More than enough time. More than enough time. You just need a week. Everything changes week by week anyway. So I don't know if Light agrees with me there, but I think that 1 week of scrims is more than enough.
No, I think it's gonna take a while. It's unfortunate. I wish like they would have blocked it out and given us like, they should have it to where there should be a build, and I imagine that they'll have it like this as well. Like maybe if for whatever logistical reasons they couldn't put it on a different time, they should have had the players play on a previous patch without Phoenix or without Blade, depending on the timeline of everything. Because I think like metas evolve over time, obviously, and it takes teams anywhere from like 2, 3, 4 weeks to like really understand the meta like the back of their hand.
It's gonna be tough too, because like you don't have
like,
tournaments going on during this time either. You just have like scrims.
Yeah, we won't actually know who the best team is if they have a week of scrims. We'll just figure out who figured out like what is strong at the like
They're
the
not
fastest.
Gonna show everything either.
Yeah,
yeah.
Also, a little peek behind the curtain as well. People think, okay, so it's happening in China and it's going to be in August, so that means that teams are going to have time. Teams that are traveling to China will not have time because they are looking to try to get the teams in China by mid-July. And what was told to me was the plan was to have 2 weeks for media.
Wow,
So
that's a long time.
2 weeks of prepping and media days and just like other things that aren't scrimming. Obviously, the teams are going to be able to scrim in that time. When I was in China for the Fragpunk Global Invitational, which was kind of a big test for NetEase of like how like international tournaments can be formatted. They had a lot of media days that still teams were able to find time to scrim after their block was done. And so it is going to be possible, but 2 weeks for media makes me think that there's going to be a lot more than just, hey, we're shooting something at the arena. I think that they're going to have teams go off to different places in China. I think they're going to have some cultural tours going on and to do some cultural content. I don't know if this is true, but I have heard that Marvel themselves is going to be involved in some of the content. that's happening with this. So I don't know if that's true, but if that is true, that means less time for these teams to be scrimming.
I mean, if they're all doing it there, that's fine. Like,
yeah.
Then it's an even
so long as it's equal between the teams. Yeah. Like, I think because it was like postulated to be July, and they're saying it's in August. Like, this is going to be like a big litmus test of like how highly integrated esports is to the overall marketing plan of Marvel Rivals. Because maybe there's a world where like Blade gets its reveal. At this event, right? Like maybe they bring out some creators and do like a Blade show match or something. That used to happen in Overwatch.
We're getting told this is going to be before the mid-season. So typically they do like the 11th for patches for like the new seasons and all that. So I'm assuming mid-season will be June 11th, not mid-season specifically, not June, excuse me, August 11th for 3.5, just based on the timelines for that every month. So the 11th is what they always go for. The tournaments, according to Wikipedia and some other sources, it will be the 6th to the 10th for those dates specifically in August. So that's right before 3.5 comes out. So as you're saying, like we could see something like that where Blade is available for these players to play on and they showcase it. And if they're doing media for 2 weeks, that's the perfect time to do it, in my opinion. To like give them time to learn the character, give them like a different build that they're playing on, completely different than what we're seeing here. That'd be insane.
The voice actor or Wesley Snipes or something.
That would be sick.
Get like the club music going on and everything.
Oh man, I want to watch Blade again.
I got to.
But yeah, the way that they did it for Fragpunk was they had one day where they had like a fully different area, like a fully different building, where they had a season 2 preview event, where we did the preview for it and like all the creators and like teams were able to play it and do like a big thing. But then at the actual tournament itself, they did a separate show match during the day of the grand finals, where it wasn't the teams, but it was like content creators that they had playing in the show match for Fragpunk season 2. And that happened. I actually casted that with Dogman. And we did that before the grand finals game actually happened. And so what's probably going to happen for this is something similar, where they will do an actual show match. They'll also probably have a separate thing for creators. I think that for Marvel Rivals, because the esports scene is so big, I think they're going to have the teams playing in that show match with season 2. They'll likely have teams that have been eliminated because it's most likely going to be on the day of the grand finals. And the teams that are still in the tournament are not going to want to even touch the new patch. They're going to want to stay on whatever patch they're competing on. So any team that has been eliminated to that point is probably going to be eligible to compete in the show match. But it is, I can 100% confirm, like without knowing anything, this is how NetEase wants to do it.
That makes a lot of sense.
That's exactly what I figured might happen. Like I haven't been informed of anything here, obviously, and even if I had, I couldn't talk about it. But like Overwatch and other esports have like laying down the groundwork for this. Like it's great to try and hype up your event just from shit that regulars are interested in anyway. So I think the timelines line up.
We'll finally get peak viewership numbers.
On a positive
it's still going to be on China time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a positive note, guys, I must say that I've been looking at the skins on Twitter. This is the best patch that they've had for skins.
Oh, really?
There's actually banger. We got Black Suit Toby Dance Spider-Man.
Oh my god.
No way.
Okay, yes. I'm sharing my screen here, Jesse, if you want to look at it.
No, these skins are fire.
Heck yeah. There we go.
Oh my god, and it's a battle pass thing too.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
that's exactly what we needed.
That is
I'm
fire.
maxing this.
Hell yeah, gamers.
I'm gonna keep going. Shout out to Marvel Rivals Media. We're just going through their posts for this as well. Ooh, I like that. That's clean. Phoenix Force for that too.
Look at that.
Phoenix Namor skin or Namor skin. That's clean. I like that one a lot.
I like this one. The last Namor skin was like a "Where's my hug" looking ass guy.
That's neat. So they're giving you like a little bit more and something different looking for this season for ranked as well, which is cool for that too. And like little ways that it shows for those titles, like we were talking about with this, or for the player cards. Excuse me.
Awesome.
Return of Jean Grey skin here in season 3. That's cool. That's very cool. Ooh, I like that one as well. They're going crazy with these skins, I gotta say. And then of course Jeff. I mean Venom Jeff, or not Venom, but Symbiote Jeff. Love it. 10 out of 10. I love what they've come up with in terms of like the different ones. The Emma Frost one here is pretty cool.
Holy
too.
Thickness. Aspect ratio, man.
This one's cool too for Rocket Raccoon for the symbiote one. I think this is like they've been killing it with the battle passes out there.
That's
I gotta
the best
say.
skin. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the art team. This reminds me so much of Overwatch. The art team is just carrying the game. The art team is fucking carrying, while the balance team just, putting the anchor in the ship, to say the least.
It is what it is.
100%.
I mean, this is where they make the money too. Okay, Weapon Phoenix there for Wolverine.
Yeah,
like
that's dope. That's dope. I gotta say though, my biggest question here, as far as skins are concerned, I know that everybody is wondering the same thing. Probably the most important skins question we can have for season 3. What color Venom are we getting?
Yeah.
Because we're having all these incredible symbiote skins, but Venom just gets turned orange or purple.
Crazy.
I reckon we get red and it's like a pseudo Carnage.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool.
No,
yeah.
Carnage as a DPS needs to happen. It just needs to.
Oh, dude, Carnage is like my most wanted.
Yeah. We need a Miles Morales support, or maybe we could do like a Miles Morales Gwen Stacy double drop in like a Spider season, and Miles could be a DPS or Gwen could be a DPS. I think Miles support makes the most sense because he would get like he has the invisibility and he has the electricity, which you could like theme to be like,
innovating,
Joel, like BioShock, revive you type of thing. I don't know. Defibrillator, something.
Defib is crazy. He has a revive.
Spider defib.
Yeah, something.
Here across the map, clear.
Netties, please just hire light.
Stack tracers.
Let's see. This is the new combo.
Oh, they do stack.
They do stack, yeah.
Do they do damage? They both do damage.
Yeah.
Ooh. Wait, this might change lights.
Hold on.
My lights outlook.
We might be back. No,
also,
that one shots, by the way. He's not even replay it.
Doesn't finish the combo. That's a one shot.
Yeah. So tag them. Yeah. That would one shot.
I'm uninstalling.
That would one shot. No, we might be back. Yo, Coach
Gold
Yoki.
Players in shambles.
We're back.
Oh my god.
Every single gold lobby just got so much harder.
Fox, we're back, buddy. Let me cook.
There we go. Let's see this. This is Phoenix ult. And you can go so. How are you
can drift on this bad boy? Woo!
Oh, you're not doing 400 damage to that.
Wait, is she invulnerable during that state?
She is, yeah.
I think her body is probably.
Okay, no, this character is broken. There it is. No, she's just broken.
What I want to know is whether her little ghost has a hitbox.
This is just better Hella. Like, she has a stun. She has more damage. Her ult makes her invulnerable, too.
But you can shoot both her and the Phoenix. So maybe because like they're kind of compensating that with a much larger hitbox. Like that could be the largest hitbox on a DPS if you could shoot both of those.
I don't think you can shoot her. I'm not sure.
We haven't tested.
Yeah, if you can, then it's horrible, and the ult is terrible.
I'm not talking about the ult. I'm just talking about the character model.
It looks like he's holding up the middle finger there.
Me at my game's balance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about in the ult. I'm talking about just like the character model walking around, because you have Jean and then you have the Phoenix flying next to her. If you could shoot the Phoenix next to her as well, that would be the largest hitbox for a DPS.
Yeah, for sure.
And that would be disproportionately large compared to her health pool.
Holy, that guy's wider than me, and that's a real challenge.
Shout out to Marvel
I like
Rivals
the Panther skin. The Panther skin is fire.
Neat, yeah. Golden Panther. That's dope.
You can't hit the Phoenix. Oh, that's okay. Never mind.
You can't.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is a new Twitch drop, by the way.
Why has she got 275 HP, bruh? Make her a 250.
Crazy.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see. She might get turned down or 2 down.
Oh, 100%. We're gonna see some like nerfs of some sort. Oh, here's Squirrel Girls.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, it doesn't have a range on it.
The squirrel's safe.
Oh my god.
There's no range on it.
Oh my god. Like, why?
There's no range. Amadian just stood up in his chair and clapped.
I could just see me, fucking swinging around a corner,
Oh my god.
and this just chases me around like a heat-seeking missile, and I die. No,
This is
there is definitely going to be a fucking crash out on Twitter, at least
Like,
within
do
a
you have
day
an
of this coming up.
editor?
I do. God bless his soul. I love Jose.
Then Jose's got to start prepping the Top Gun montage right now.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
To try to get away from these missiles.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
actually, that's so
Predator
fire. Yeah,
missile.
let's get a Top Gun.
That is nuts.
My God.
That's wow.
That's an Iron Man team up, right? I mean,
Oh no,
I mean,
that's the what is it for this one?
This
I
is
think it
the
is.
the
I think
it was
Star
it's
Iron
Protocol.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same one
That's
Ultron
just
benefits
nuts.
from. Also, Spidey
Crazy.
with the fire fist that he gets from having the thingy
Yeah,
team
that's
up. Kind of fire.
Oh yeah,
Look at him. He's looking nasty over there with his little fire fist.
I can't
that
wait to
does
try
look
this
nice,
out.
yeah.
My scrims got canceled. My like 5 to 7
Oh, yeah?
central. They got canceled, and the creator build drops at 6 my time. So
Perfect.
I'm insta downloading this and trying out this combo. Like, I'm looking
You
at the
will
flats
be
clip right now.
watching.
Yeah, no, this is going to be fire. I actually think that we might be back because the cooldown's
I
only
might go
12
into
seconds. It's only 12 seconds, and it has movement to it too. Yeah, and you
Let's
don't
see,
even need to
yeah.
be no. This is broken. This is actually good because you don't even need to be close to the target. You could just use it. You could just use it for a free kickflip.
Oh boy.
Nope.
Yeah, I might log into that creator build as well, and by the end of the day, Light and I will no longer be.
All right,
Yeah.
if you want to bring it back to us, Jesse, we'll look at more clips as they go
No,
along. We've kind of
that's
gotten
awesome.
derailed a bit, but like it's the new season. We kind of talk about it as much as we can. I can't wait to see how it looks in actual competitions for everything going on. I wish MRC this weekend was also on the new build, but of course they're not going to do that because it's going to be on the old one because it comes out on the 11th there specifically. Let's go over EMEA because we kind of scrolled over. I'm sorry, Pokey, I saw you in chat earlier for that to talk about the specific results here for that. Berber Patapim are the promised team from EMEA. They took down Virtus Pro in 5. They took down Rad EU after losing in the upper bracket in 5. EMEA was spicy. And like I mean, looking at Berber Patapim, a lot of people were saying they were probably going to be that team to try and take it to Virtus Pro. Rad just got there first. Did you expect them to be a top team after they took out Virtus Pro going into that grand final? Like the top team, excuse me.
Oh, Berber Padman being the top team going into that final? Damn right. Like, I think that people consistently underrate the lower bracket hot hands. I feel like out of all of the grand finals I've watched in like 8 years of esports, the lower bracket team has won like 80% of the time. Just going into the grands because they come in so hot most of the time, even if it's been an exhausting series, but it's like real hard for someone else to get a lot of value straight off the bat and then you lose so much momentum because like who's Rad warming up against with Virtus Pro and Berber fighting each other on the other side? And also, no offense to TechieXD, I'm so glad that TechieXD appear to have imploded because now maybe Berber Padman will get a sponsor because Berber, they go into China, but in esports, a team would rather pick up TechieXD than sponsor Berber on their way to China because they're in EMEA.
Oh man, it's just such a rough state of esports when you have a team going to the LAN event, won the entire thing, should have been picked up arguably beforehand, and it didn't happen. I feel like there's so many orgs out there that are just hesitant to touch the space currently until they can ensure that they get their EWC money next year, whenever that happens. You know, they want to make sure that it's part of EWC first before they even touch the ecosystem. I mean, Artie, like you've dealt with like a lot of different orgs that were looking at NA teams and talked to a bunch of different people in that sphere. Like, what is the mindset between the org owners on looking get into Marvel Rivals right now?
Is it profitable? Is there any way that there are enough events with enough prize pools or that there's going to be enough viewership that will make sponsors happy? That's it. That's all it is. Is there an avenue to profitability based on the events that it's in? And for EWC, that is an instant yes. That is an instant, it is going to be something that is big, right? I can't say if Marvel Rivals would be at EWC or not, but I think at this point everything has been, I think there's some words out there, but if it is, then I think that would make a lot more orgs like ready to jump in because there actually are a lot of orgs that have shifted their entire ecosystem to supporting like the EWC pipeline of games where they'll sign rosters. Like Zero Tenacity. Another one is Gaiman Gladiators, who's
True.
they compete for that EWC the team prize, where if you win enough tournaments, you get the club thing, where like you'll actually get a giant stake of like this like prize pool for just competing in more than one tournament.
Yeah.
Millions, which pays back every single roster, even if you get like 4th place, 5th place. So there's a lot of orgs that like that would change things for. Now, for this year, obviously, it's not going to be if it is at EWC, it's not going to be a main title. But next year, absolutely a possibility.
Yeah, it's going to be nuts once that actually gets introduced. Then we'll have more sustainability for these rosters that are going into Ignite. If it comes back in the same form that it does next year, that'll probably be like a break in between. Or maybe they have mid-season at the whole land there in EWC. Who knows what their plan is? I mean, what we do know is EFG are the ones that operate EWC. So they're the ones who are also helping on the back end here too. So it just makes sense that there's going to be that sort of partnership in the future for those teams and for the future. They're the ones who did Overwatch. They're the ones who are doing Marvel Rivals because they know how Overwatch worked. It's a no-brainer for that side of things too. So I hope we see more success for this scene. I think NetEase are solely focused on making sure they get stuff right for Ignite now, and then using what they learned from that to improve for whatever year 2 or year 1, I guess you could technically say. I feel like this is still year 0 because it just came out for this game. It hasn't even been like a year since the release of the full launch of this game, which is just crazy to think about how much has changed since then. But there's still potential. I know for teams right now, it's a tough spot for them. But again, hopefully it doesn't take them too long to pay out. Pricing is my big thing too, because orgs can help support with like salaries and stuff like that. But if you are a team that doesn't have that, you're having to like stream, you're having to do all this other stuff outside to make things work and make enough money to support yourself. So kind of a tough spot there.
Also, the streaming space is pretty good for pros at the moment. I feel like compared to at least Overwatch, like the level of pickup on pro streams has been fairly high, especially at least for EU players. Like for NA, It seems like there's been a lot of people who get picked up as well. But generally in Overwatch, it felt like the EU pros had a lot of trouble getting good traction on their streams. At least for Virtus Pro so far, it seems like streaming has been treating them fairly well. I think that the general streaming audience are generally quite keen. At least this early, because we're kind of like in the Seagull Overwatch era still.
Self
like
needs to stream is all I'm saying.
Yeah, in the like comparative timelines, I think that the pro players are still getting a good amount of like innate traction on their streams, providing that like the promotion is vaguely.
Yeah, it's basically, there's a lot of market for just casual players that want to watch a streamer for whatever reason when they're not playing the game, that have just, hey, I want to watch somebody play Marvel Rivals. And the best people to watch for a game like this is going to be someone that is a pro, right? And so streaming is the bridge, and always has been the bridge between like the esports scene and the casual audience of a game. And I think that a game like Marvel Rivals is just set up in the perfect way to be able to just market the pro players to that audience through just, being active on Twitch or being active on TikTok. But I think that there could be more that NetEase does to kind of promote it, and I think that would help out a lot. But that's kind of besides the conversation. But yeah, I think that for pros, like if you're a pro player for one of the top teams and you're not streaming and you're not posting clips on TikTok, you're actually throwing your career in the toilet.
I mean, that's esports in general, right? You got to make sure you're making content and doing everything you can to be visible, because that's something that also makes you marketable to these different organizations if they want to pick up your squad. It's like, oh, this is like a good team that has the visibility they have where we could put a sponsor on their stream, and that'll give us the metrics that we can sell to different sponsors as well. It's just feeds back into the system. Of course, it's hard to do that when you're like screwing for so many hours and also having to play the game to get to a certain rank and all this other kind of stuff. But I mean, like, talking about that, how is it for you as a perspective from someone who's playing as a pro, but also you stream very regularly?
In what aspect? Could you be more specific?
Yeah, like in terms of like making sure you have that content that you're pumping out while you're still playing as a pro player.
Yeah, so this is pretty much, there's two aspects, and it's the first that this is pretty much all I do. Like, I don't have anyone that I talk to IRL. I don't do anything else. Like, I got laid off from ISU officially 3 days ago. So I'm taking a chance right now. I have a decent amount of savings built up. I'm obviously getting like we're contracted by FlyQuest, and I get the money from streaming and YouTube and that type of stuff. So currently it's sustainable. Esports is always volatile and stuff like that. So I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm taking a chance. I don't think that I'll ever be in a position like this in my life where I can compete on a tier 1 team, especially because I'm in the scene so early. And my stream is doing really good. It's growing a lot. I have like a really, really awesome community. I see the same people type in my chat every single day. And I stream literally every single day. I have not missed a day since the 25th, whenever I got like more free time on my hands. And I was just like really, really blessed to have people who have come to my chat and who help me posting on my socials. Like I have Alex who posts on my Instagram. Like he made my Instagram and my TikTok, and he posts all those clips. And then I have my editor Jose, who literally works for free. Like I told him, bro, I can't pay you. I would love to pay you, but I can't. And he understands it, and he still does like all the editing stuff. So he's just a god. Like I love him to death, and I will pay him as soon as I am in a position where I'm not like,
yeah, no,
where my stream is bigger.
It's the grind.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
So no, I'm just like really, really blessed and fortunate, but I also just work like really, really hard. Like again, this is all I do. Like every single second I'm on this game, I'm streaming, and if I'm not streaming, I am sleeping or at the gym. Like that's it. This is all I do.
Does FlyQuest offer any content support?
I need to talk to them.
ideation?
I'm not sure. I'd have to talk to them. I'm not at liberty to speak on that, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Understandable. I understand better than most.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Now it's cool to hear your perspective on that too, and I'm sure like a lot of pros out there are trying to figure out exactly like the best way to approach things. Fate does bring up a good point. This game is hard to stream because it's not the best optimized. I know they said they're like doing some fixes with that with the next season, so hopefully they have some better options for people that don't have like insanely good rigs on that
Two
side.
PC stream setup.
Yeah.
OP.
Another thing, like I can comment on, like I was fortunate enough to use the MRI money from the first time to like buy a supercomputer. I have like a 5080 on it. So like I'm like very, very blessed in that aspect where I actually have a rig that can stream this game. But I think another aspect of why a lot of pros don't stream this game is just the quality of ranked is really bad.
True.
And it's just not fun to play. There's like this mischievous fairy tale that some people like to say about engagement optimized matchmaking, but it is very real. Play the game like it is like a fact as real as the sun is hot.
That's
like
why I don't play
your
ranked.
matches. Exactly. Like the game will literally throw you in lobbies that are unwinnable and unlosable. And it's not like obviously skill is a factor in the matchmaker, but more so it's designed to keep you playing as long as possible, which ruins match quality. And so for a pro player, when you go from having like these really competitive scrims and then you jump into ranked and then you just have like
it's just a cesspool.
You just have like I'll hop into ranked, I'll be 250 elo eternity, and I'll get into games with Celestial 2 peak players, and then we'll lose in 5 minutes. And like whenever I don't have any agency as a player over the outcome of my matches, and that is a consistent issue every single day, because like I'm dropping like in FlyQuest, we have a tracker to see how many games played each week from each person. And so because I stream the most and have the most time on my hands, naturally I usually have the most. But I think over the past month, I have played like 400 plus games, like over 100 games a week. And so if you're not extremely driven and passionate as I am, you're just not going to play that much ranked because the experience is just not enjoyable. Like having so many games that are not in your control just isn't fun. And to me, that's like the number one issue. Like regardless of the balance or anything, like any issue that you might have with this game, I think the matchmaking experience and the quality is the number one thing that is plaguing this game right now. And that has to be addressed if this game is going to have like if it wants to be at the top like it can be. If it wants to beat Overwatch and Counter-Strike and Dota and all these games, and if it wants to climb over the years that it keeps going, because it's not going to die ever. But if it wants to be like the top end esport or game that it can be, it has a wonderful foundation. It has to fix the match quality more than anything.
Amen. That's all I gotta say to that. Amen. That's why I haven't played much ranked recently, because I usually only have time to solo queue, and then you're going through just a gauntlet of just people who don't know what they're doing, or you're
miserable.
It's like all these people who are just in the losers queue, and then you're like, what am I doing playing this when I could play something else, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
That's why we've had a fall off of the peak number of players that are actually playing this game. Yes, you get a bit of a boost every single season, but eventually that's not going to be enough to keep people entertained for this kind of game. So they do need to address that. I think maybe just keep that to quick play if they want to have that engagement-based matchmaking, and then have it be separate for competitive, because this is a very competitive game. I know they said they want to focus on the casual side of things, but when you have a ranked system with such a passionate community that's dedicated to putting all this time in. You can't do that.
You cannot, like, I hate this argument with this game is casual, you shouldn't care. I hate it so much because this, like, they are dumping millions of dollars into esports, like millions for the LAN, for the prize pool, for all the tournaments they've hosted, just everything. They are dumping millions of dollars into it. So you cannot tell me that they do not care about the competitive side. I understand that you have to keep your casual base because that is like the majority of your player base happy. But the people who play this game every single day and consistently, who play it for a living a lot, like that community matters more than the people who hop on and 6-stack after work because they will play whatever they want. And they care more about their match quality than anybody. Like no one wants to hop on with their boys and like anywhere from like gold to grandmaster, which I think is like the average rank is like diamond or something like that, and just get shit stomped. Like nothing is in their control. That's not fun.
Not at all.
And it's not even up to their skill. Like they can't improve. There's nothing to be learned. Like the matchmaker just decided we lost, so we lost.
Exactly.
That's all it is.
It puts like 4 strategists on a team, so like someone has to like flex basically. Like
yeah, no. So here's some strategies to remedy the issue. Okay. So the way how it works is the number one thing that it tries to account for is the skill gap, so the skill-based matchmaking. But another aspect of that is latency difference. Number 3 is the fair match, like how it predicts the wins and losses. And how it does this is it takes the heroes that you play the most, and it tries to compartmentalize you into, are you a strategist, a duelist, or a vanguard player? And if you flex, which you should never flex in ranked, by the way, don't do it. Because the matchmaker tries to put a perfect 2-2-2 team together, but if it can't discern if you're a strategist player or a duelist player, it could get confused and then put you in a game with another duelist player. So now you have 3 duelists, 1 strategist, and 2 vanguards, which makes your chances of winning lower. And that's on top of it also trying to put you in matches where you're guaranteed to lose, because if you lose and then you lose again, and then you're the type of player who keeps queuing until you win, that's how it keeps you engaged. It's going to put you on these wild ranges of win streaks and loss streaks constantly. So how you counteract this is you get off the game for 8 hours minimum. And what this does is it tells the game that you're not satisfied with your experience, and it will turn your churn rate to the other direction. So never flex, and if you lose more than 3, get off the game for 8 hours and change on a different account. If you account swap, like 3 or 4 different accounts, like everyone does in high elo that cares about your rank, you will climb. 100% you will climb. Play until you lose, maybe play 2 hours. But if you lose 3 in a row, get off the account, period. You just keep trying until the win streak kicks in.
Sage advice from Light here. Yeah. Everyone, make sure you.
I played so many games this season. I promise you, this is the method.
Oh,
this is how you win.
I'll have to take that advice to heart for sure.
Yeah,
maybe I'll get back into the rank this season.
And don't flex, because like again with the flexing thing, if you play, let's say that you are a Punisher main, but sometimes you flex to Mag and sometimes you flex to Luna. Well, if you have 10 hours of Punisher, 8 hours of Mag, and 8 hours of Luna, the game is going to. It can't discern which one of those roles you belong to because you're flexing all the time. Whereas if you only had 10 hours of Punisher or 20 hours of Punisher, it knows that you're a DPS player and will put you with other tank players and other support players, or at least other people who are willing to flex.
And I will say that one of the biggest things is that I don't know how many people are aware of this, but they have made it public that one of the biggest changes coming in the last half of season 3.5 is a new competitive mode.
God bless. Oh my God, Guang. Yes.
It is aimed to fix these challenges specifically. I don't know how much more I could say than that because that's what has been publicly announced. But I have had a lot of conversations about this. So the new ranked mode that's coming is specifically to address the loudest members of the Marvel Rivals community.
Member, Mr. Light.
it is
right there.
It says
right
love to Dear Light, and then they're shipping the update. It's actually how it's gonna go.
I personally prefer passionate.
Me too, bud. Me too.
Because with all my noise and rage bait and whining or whatever people like want to call it, it's just because I want this game to be as successful as possible. Like I just have so much love and passion for everyone in this community and the esport and the game itself. I just want it to be as successful as I know it can be. And it's just frustrating to just see it just not do the things that I know it needs to do in order to be good and to be the best it can be. So
like you and I both lived through like the 2018 onwards Overwatch era, and it's like we've read the scriptures. We're like, You guys didn't see this, did you? Can we deal with it?
We're making the same mistakes. What's going on here?
At least, just to be positive again, their roadmap for hero releases is awesome. Hero bans is awesome. Huge. The skins are awesome. The team ups are awesome. Like there's so many positive things.
Just gotta fix this one thing.
it's such a wonderful foundation that if they just fix the matchmaker and the balance, this game will be the best game that anyone could play. It is those two things: fix the max quality, fix the balance, and we're golden.
Amen.
Hopefully the Fantastic Four movie also fucks. Because the more space that Marvel occupies in the ethos, the better.
I will say Ironheart's pretty decent. I have been watching that. I haven't finished the most recent ones, but it's really good. I like the story with it. They're bringing up some old villains from the comics and things of that sort, so it's dope. Definitely recommend checking that out. Okay, our last, well, I guess not last thing. We're going a little bit over time, but that's fine. There's been a lot to cover today. Let's go over the teams who all qualified for Ignite. I know we don't really have much time to go over the Asia playoffs. I'll just kind of recap those as we're on this screen. One thing I want to do is give a big shout out to Crazy Raccoon. They almost made it into the top 2 teams out of the Asia qualifier, or playoffs specifically. They beat Gen.G 3-1. Barely lost in Game 5 to Reject, then lost to Gen.G 3-1. So valiant effort to Crazy Raccoon on their journey there. Unfortunately, we're so close to making it, but didn't. But Reject was the team who won at the end of it. They beat Crazy Raccoon in 5. Then they beat Gen.G in Game 7. So many of these were just banger grand finals that we had to see, like, new champions rise to the channel.
I love
Choppa for sure.
Yeah.
But like, people were saying before this that Gen.G is like that top team out there. Reject are the new kids on the block that you need to be paying attention to if you have not watched anything out of Asia. But aside from that, looking at the teams we have here, how do we feel the regions are going to fare here, leg day?
I feel like, as I outlined earlier, I think Rad are going to do well in the early tournament because they're pretty cerebral. They got some good heads on them. They figure out bans real fast. And I think other teams, like in like what you call like the second phase of a tournament, when you're like deeper into the lower bracket, are maybe going to be able to just outmuscle Rad when it comes to like pure mechanical power. I think Berber probably, like, not probably take the whole thing, but I think they'll take the whole thing, and I am biased. So we all know that. But I think Berber are like the strongest, like, one-on-one mechanical like matchup team. I think they might struggle early. They'll copy Rad's homework and then pop off from there. What I'm most excited about, though, is Asia, actually, because I think they have the most concrete identity of any region. And I think that the funnest thing about, like, inter-regional competition, as well as the bragging rights, is seeing how the different regions collide. You called it Dry Mantis. And as a certified Mantis hater, I agree. I think she's gonna get dried out, rolled, and smoked by America in the NBA. I think that Asia's gonna have to put the Mantis in the bin, bro. Put the Mantis in the bag.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think Asia is terrible. I think they're so bad.
I really hope that they show the China matches when they happen, that they're broadcasted. At least, like, you know, that we'll be able to see them happen. Because I was speaking,
right? Or is it the week after?
It's the week after. July 20th is the grand finals, so it's like the week before. Yeah, so I guess next week would be when group stages. But yeah, so I was speaking with the head coach of Gen.G, and they've actually scrimmed the China teams. It is a different video game. It is a different setup of, like, the metas are constantly, like, changing in ways that we don't see here in the West. I mean, for us, it's like, oh, wow, like Asia running Mantis, it's crazy. There is an entire separate conversation for what China is doing. Obviously, that is going to change week to week. Like I said, everything is always constantly adapting and adjusting. But I think that we could be very surprised by what the China team is able to pull off.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see what China. I've never seen anything about China. I don't know if they'll be any good or any bad. I just think that the best region is EMEA, and then America, and then Asia, and then OS, and then China's the wild card. And okay, so let me just say this: Ground Zero is my favorite team in this tournament. I want Ground Zero to win. I am a Ground Zero stan. I love Ground Zero. I love OS. All the Ground Zero boys, Parma in my chat always. They're goated. Love them.
Maddie.
Yeah, shout out Maddie. Shout out Chungus. Like, literally Juicy. Everybody. I'm sorry if I forgot one, but those are the ones I see the most frequent. They're goated. I love Ground Zero. But as far as skill, I don't think OS has the capacity to be as competitive as the other teams just because the region is less competitive in general.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and I think
so
Ground
many
Zero
teams at like the higher ranks too, just because
exactly. There's just less there's just less players, so naturally the teams are going to be worse. There's just less talent in the pool. But yeah, I agree with leg day 100%. Berber are the favorites to win. I think Asia. Okay, last time we scrimmed Gen G, we shit on them. We absolutely bought it. I couldn't believe what I was watching. Like they were horrible. But that was a while ago, so they could have gotten better.
I've heard they've gotten a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah. Now it's like
their new play,
only
their new roster.
The only thing I see from Asia is they are in my ranked games permanently, and every time I see CR, they are horrible or they're fine. They're
raccoon,
nowhere in between. Yeah, every time I see someone with CR, we either lost the game or we're like it's hard. I never see a CR player just dominate, except for Choppa. I know he's not CR, but Choppa's a god. And Xy's a god
I think,
too.
Like to expand on OCE, I think OCE have massive contributions to the esports scene in broadcast talent and lands. Like Australian crowds, along with French crowds, are probably the best.
Brazilians.
Oh, and Brazilians, yeah, those are excellent land spots. Like if we ever move out of like NetEase's like infrastructure in China, I want to see an Australian land.
Yeah,
man.
I think that'd be sick. They're like no lands in OS. Yeah, I love OS. I think OS is great. Like everyone I've ever met from there as well.
That's usually about it.
Yeah, everyone I've ever met from there, just like in general, is just a really awesome person too. Like I just love people from OS.
They're so real too. They'll tell you how it is.
Yeah. When I lived in Japan, like my only like Western friends were Australians, and it was such a good time. Like you could convince them to take shoeies at any moment of the day, and absolutely just wild cards.
On land in China. That's all we need to see from these players.
From the Ground Zero play is gonna happen. All you have to do is just ask, and it'll happen. Just that Aussie pride is so good. But yeah, I mean, I also heavily fuck with Osh. I'm actually closer to Australia geographically than I am to most of the United States. Closer time zone wise as well. So I end up having a lot of time to like play with them, even if it's high ping. But yeah, it's a good region for sure. Underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's take a look at MRC here to close things out because that's what's going on this weekend. Let me bring it up, Jesse, so we can look at the teams, look at the different rosters, what to expect from each region. We're starting with EMEA PC on this one. So looking at how things are going for this region, I'm going to be relying on you, Leg Day, for these teams, but I've heard of Ex Oblivion and then Chemistry. We've seen them before. The other and the Uncles or Uncles.
The Uncles.
Uncles. I don't know. It's French. They were also a team who almost qualified for Ignite. They were on like one of those qualification matchups. Think Twice is kind of newer, but aside from that, 2 teams out of this are making stage 2. Who do you think those teams are going to be this weekend?
Well, I pre-predicted MRC like the second the Ignite trials are over.
Yeah.
I was like, I messaged Ash for a second, like, so is it free low in MRC? Like, I think Ex Oblivione probably going to be a great place to take this. Chemistry have some hype behind them. So they probably do okay here, but it's Ex Oblivione's bracket to lose. If Ex Oblivione don't lose, it will be an unreal fumble, and I don't think I'd ever stop giving them shit.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
I mean, we should have seen them in Ignite, to be fair. Like they were so close.
I love Ex Oblivion. They are my number one. I've scrimmed them a lot. I know that they have just an insane work ethic about them. And my prediction for this is that Ex Oblivion takes upper bracket, and then Pluvia goes on an insane lower bracket run to qualify the grand
finals. Let's see the rosters here for those who aren't familiar. So Pluvia, that is Pink, Wide, Vastus, Pat, Milkella, and Smaffer, all the way from Korea. Nice. I know Ex Oblivion has some players from South Korea there as well on their side with Intent. Shout Oleg too on their side. And then Ascended was another team I was told to kind of keep an eye on as well with their squad too. And then Chemistry was the other one in the upper bracket. That's Twizzy here, Henkin, Challenge, CrossFit, Alo, and Baka. Out of these players, let's get rid of Ex Oblivion. Let's say that they're going to make it, or Ex Oblivion. So are we just going to say Chemistry? Are we going to say Pulvia? Like, who are the favorites here outside of that team?
Honestly, I'm kind of surprised that maybe they renamed, but where's Ulu Mulu, the team that took a map off Berber Patapim being the most inconsistent team in existence? I'm surprised Exodia went out as early as they did as well.
Yeah.
These guys got
who did they fail to? Let's see. They fell to...
I think they fell to
Dawncore,
Exodia at the start, and then Dawncore, yeah. And in the lower bracket, kind of got slapped around there. I guess Chemistry, is probably...
that team to keep an eye on.
The likely second place.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, well, to be fair, we thought about EME as like second place to Virtus Pro, like everyone's competed for that, right? And we were fucking wrong. we were very freaking wrong about that.
Yep.
So I reckon that it's probably going to be Chemistry, maybe Pluvia. Pluvia, I think, are in with a good chance. I do kind of rate that roster. They've had some time together, and they've done some. They did okay in the attempts to qualify for Ignite as well.
Yeah, some good matches that'll be happening on Saturday and Sunday this weekend for that. And then this is for Americas here. So we have Atlanta Phoenix Guard, Cafe Noir. I know Cafe Noir's played in the Valhalla and Order tournaments. They did pretty decent, as well as I think they made it to a qualification match if I remember correctly, for Ignite or close to it.
Yeah, Cafe Noir did. I believe they came first in the round robin.
Yeah,
but that might have been down. That might have been down to cheese, as those those Swiss tens can be cheesed fairly easily.
Yeah, but I think Cafe Noir has like a really, really good chance. We actually scrim with them quite a bit, and they're very, very talented players. I honestly also think Arrival 7 is the number one here.
Gotta keep an eye on them for sure.
Gotta keep an eye on Arrival 7.
It's such a tragedy too. They were so close to making it both times into Ignite, and then lost a game. That was it. One
what are the
map
rosters
could have
of these
decided
teams?
all. Yeah, let me show you the rosters here. There we go. So these are the rosters for this. One Below All is one to keep an eye out on too. They were doing pretty good throughout the Marvel Rivals Championship stage themselves. They haven't really had too much to face off against up to this point, but they did really well to get to where they're at currently. I know Atlanta Phoenix Guard, they've been kind of grinding with some different rosters that they've been making changes with. Rad's already out of it as well because they lost to Cafe Noir. So 762 is one to keep an eye out. I think that's the one who plays Ultron and Human Torch on Cafe Noir, if I'm not mistaken. What I remember.
He's a hit scan as well. 762 is insane.
Yeah, I think
crazy.
I think if I look, One Below All, I think has the best players from what I'm looking at here. I see Necryze is really good. I see him in ranked all the time. Peely's and Voob are good. Chuckles is good. He was previous to Morai. Sam, I see a lot in rank, and I'm not sure about Runans, I think is how I say his name. Not sure about him, but he's on the team. He must be decent.
Yes, S76M, Heelys, those guys were constantly MVPing in Vanguardian League. So shout out to Bao. One Below All, big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other teams, I have no idea. I recognize a lot of the players on Cafe Noir, but we just haven't scrimmed them, so I can't comment.
Yeah, they've been kind of stuck in that tier 2 echelon from what we've seen, because we've seen them in some of the outside leagues doing decent, but haven't gotten to the tops and taken on some of those Ignite teams that are out there. So they have potential. They got to go through Phoenix Guard and then a long way, because again, you got to get into the grand final to qualify for Ignite itself. Elo Thugs, have you guys heard of any of these players specifically? No one specifically popping up in my mind.
Poggers comes in my chat sometimes, and I see him in ranked. And then Kovu is good. I've played against him in ranked before, and he comes to my chat all the time. Same thing with Samite. I think that's how I say it.
Yeah. Steam Engine's not really a team either. Then kind of
a jobless bums player just said that Elo Thugs is the best team.
Okay. Okay. There we go. So we got to trust the sources there.
Yeah.
I trust Ben with my life.
Man,
yeah,
there's some teams that should have done better too. Like Neko Espresso, I've heard that they had potential in the past, but I think they've changed their roster so many times, so we haven't really seen enough from them. Team Digital's made some waves themselves too. Lotus, I think they also picked up an okay roster from before, but looking at who's like left, I think Arrival 7 and probably One Below All are like the two potential to win this one specifically for Into Ignite. Which crazy about like MRC here, Jesse, if you want to bring up the graphic that shows the just stream dates while we kind of talk more about this, is that there's so many teams that are going to form and have potential to make it into Ignite that only 6 of them, at least, unless Techie gives up their spot completely, can qualify. So like not every team and composition and player we saw in stage 1 is going to make it into stage 2. So that's going to just turn things up a notch for a lot of teams. And it's cool that they have this option, but it also is like a bit bittersweet because I feel like they should have made it there already.
I mean, honestly, like that's the biggest thing about MRC is for a lot of teams, at the very least, it's not the last chance. It is the time before the last chance, before the open quals, to like say, hey, what if we could still do it? Regardless, I'm just happy that there's more opportunities for like these teams to be able to get in and make it through. But the real test though is like, even if you qual through like MRC, right? And then if you don't qual through MRC, right? Now the top teams from that layer have been removed. You're already not qualified from stage 1 or whatever. And now there's a few open slots. That means that it is like the true test of like who actually belongs to be there. Yep. If teams repeat qual, then that's proof. It doesn't matter if you get taken out. It repeat proves that you are supposed to be top up team in a tier 1, right? But I think with the MRC format, as long as that's not the only qualifier, I'm happy with how they're running this.
Exactly. It's not just MRC, it's not just MRI, and that's not just told after these things have already happened. Stuff too. So hopefully seeding will be a little bit better for groups on that side as well, because it's a little bit weird. But if you want to bring it back to us, Jesse, we're going to be wrapping things up because we have gone a bit over time. I know people have some hard outs. So we'll go down the line, say just kind of final thoughts before we get into the mid-season. We get into MRC this weekend, but also season 3. Light, what is your final thoughts?
Well, we'll start off positive. The skins are awesome. I really tried. I'm not even kidding.
That's valid.
Actually, the Spider-Man team up does look cool. It looks very cool and skill expressive, and I'm excited to try it. I'm sad that it's attached to a character that will be permabanned, or at least be banned a lot, but we'll see. Yeah, I mean, I've already expressed like my concerns about the matchmaking and the balance before, so I don't need to go over that again, but
go back in the VOD if you want to listen to any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, thanks Light for joining us as well. Leg day, you got to see all the action. You've seen like what could potentially happen with this new season. What are your final thoughts?
I'll go for a positive note, just like Light.
To
add, go ahead.
Positivity. Sorry, buddy. But you reminded me. Another positive. Discord integration in the game. Awesome. Students getting 10 free skins. Awesome. Let's go. That's a W. All like the miscellaneous shit. Great job. Skins. Great job. Optimization updates. Great job. It's just the balance team that's, like.
Okay. Positive
anyway, go ahead,
from
buddy.
me.
Go ahead.
MRC, I'm actually very happy with how Neddies have seamlessly created a tier 2 of an open ecosystem with like very little change to the in-game stuff, like having an in-game tournament client. It's freaking awesome. And since I've got a final thought, I know a lot of up-and-coming casters watch this. I found out today there's like a MENA tournament, a Middle East North America tournament going on in Saudi America. Saudi America is crazy. That's what we call the EWC,
Wait, it has been announced?
What, the MENA stuff?
No, nothing's been announced for that already.
Okay, got it.
No,
almost had a leak there.
Wait, if I'm leaking something, I don't know. I don't know anything about EWC.
That's another tournament. This is a different MENA tournament that's going on.
I found out about MENA stuff from Xoblivione tweeting about it. If you're an up-and-coming caster, reach out to these players and get some replay codes. Like, people want these games covered. Like, the way you get noticed as a caster is to fucking cast things. So
exactly.
take some initiative, go do that. I'm probably going to be doing the same, so you're competing with me, but I'm a boomer. I'm going to die soon. It's on you. Aside from that, yeah, it's been great talking to you guys.
Awesome. Artie, final thought from you. I know we're going like a couple seconds over, so just as
All
quick
good.
as you can, we'll send it.
All good. I mean, just thanks for having me. Very excited for season 3. Really excited to see the finals of Ignite, to see everything kind of come to an end for the mid-season before everything kicks off. Again, a huge shout out to Team Nemesis. I wish them all much luck in their future endeavors. And then as far as myself, reminder that I am now LFT and LFO, so I will be having a couple chats with a few orgs this weekend. But hey, if you're an org looking for a head coach or an assistant coach or an analyst or anything like that, my DMs are open. But yeah, thank you guys. Looking forward to seeing hopefully the best for season 3 as things start to close in.
I hope you guys are looking forward to seeing the Squirrel heat-seeking missile light clips.
Yeah,
that'll be awesome.
Not wait to see that. That's gonna be great.
I need some attribution of the Top Gun edit, please.
Oh yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for tuning in. This has been episode 10 of Rivals and Rants. I can't believe we've gotten this far. We're gonna have more episodes to come. We'll do one next week, kind of seeing if we could talk with the people who came out on top during Ignite this past season, or maybe some people from MRC. We'll figure it out. It's gonna be on
So
Wednesday,
we're not good enough for you?
We'll
That's
see.
number 1 of Group A, number 1 of Group B is not good enough for you?
You guys are great. That's why we had you this episode. That's why we had you this episode.
We're just fat, ugly losers.
No,
that's just all it is.
Positive note, you guys have been great. It's been a great time to put on these shows. Shout out to Just Staying Alive. Without him, this wouldn't be possible to even put on these shows. Shout out to everyone who's been tuning in, tweeting, all that kind of stuff. And then also shout out to Rivals Esports on Twitter. They've been doing some coverage for this. Make sure you join the Marvel Rivals LFG and competitive Discord there as well if you want to just pay attention to these podcasts. Eventually, we're going to hold some like watch parties and stuff on there. We might do one this Sunday for MRC, so make sure you hop in there as well. We'll probably get some pros involved and just kind of talk over the action as it's happening. So make sure you follow, make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening on all podcast platforms. You can find Rivals and Rants. And that's enough ranting for today. So tune in to the raid. We're going to send it on over to Light. He'll have some gameplay from the creator build. Make sure you watch that. Make sure you keep supporting Marvel Rivals Esports. Without the support, without the viewers, it would not exist. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.